Good evening, everybody. It's a Sunday. The NoobGamerz studio is open for business because it is 8 PM and we're ready for another fantastic evening of racing to bring you this evening. Thank you for joining us where you're watching around the world, whether you're in the UK or abroad. Thank you for being here. We, of course, appreciate your attendance to the race this evening. Looking on the chat, we've got Kino, we've got Iliam's there, Trevor's there, NoobGamer Jimmy's there. Everyone's starting to get involved early because tonight there is a lot of excitement around the GT4 League, which starts tonight. And speaking of things which are exciting, just a look at the man, but you guys only get to hear from him. It is, of course, my co-commentator this evening. His name is Jamie. How are you, my friend?
Hello. Yeah, very good. Actually, I'm a little bit tired, Ryan. I set an alarm to get up at 5 o'clock this morning to watch the first Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And it was, let's just say, terrible.
Yes.
And I am absolutely confident that this race tonight, I'm actually looking forward to this twice as much. This is going to be so much more exciting than the real thing.
Yes.
You know, that's how good tonight's going to be.
I'm sure we can guarantee you more than one overtake on the first few corners of the F1 that we got today. But hey ho, that's what happens in F1. But you're here with us now. We got some GT4 action tonight, Jamie. Everyone's excited. 2 leagues, all these great races thrown together. I mean, it's going to be fantastic, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. I mean, I think this is probably the biggest grid we've ever had. 29 drivers we've got. I think this is the closest competition we've seen in terms of the speed is so close. You know, anyone of sort of 10, 15 drivers could win this. You know, we're in for an absolute cracker.
Absolute cracker indeed. And speaking of things that are cracking, NoobGamer Jimmy's just subscribed for 6 months. Don't forget to join me as a subscriber, he says. You can use your Amazon Prime for free subs. I mean, it's done my work for me, Jamie. Of course, if you're an Amazon Prime user, get involved, absolutely free. And big announcement, ladies and gents. Thanks to all you guys subscribing, chucking us bits, engaging with the Twitch platform as opposed to donations. We actually got our very first Twitch payout since we started this in November. Came this week. So all that work you guys have been putting in, subscribing, sending us bits, is paying off. I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it, Jamie? The support has been immense so far.
Oh, I mean, this community has just grown and grown and grown. I know today our Discord went over 100 members, all really active, all absolutely loving the community that we've built up. So supportive, so helpful, so friendly. Yeah, I mean, we've been genuinely blown away, Ryan, haven't we? We did not expect this when we started this.
Exactly. Me and you, Jimmy, there, 3 of us were just like, yeah, we'll start streaming a few races, see how it goes.
Yeah.
Absolutely blown away. There's nothing else to describe it. It's been fantastic. So again, thank you for you guys here. Obviously not Benjamin saying testament to your hard work. Really appreciate that, my friend. Any and all advice that you guys have been giving us, helping us get this stream as good as it can. We're always open to ideas, and hopefully, by you guys being here, you're enjoying what we have on offer, and hopefully you can stick with us tonight. But back to the race tonight though, Jamie. We've got another track guide coming up, this one courtesy of T-Mac. Should we have a little look about what we got in store this evening?
Yeah, I reckon, how about this, is an idea. We smash through the track guide, we see how ridiculously quick T-Mac is, and it scares us to death, which it does every week. Then we go through the format for this league, Ryan, which is pretty exciting. What do you reckon? I
think that sounds like a fantastic idea. So,
okay, cool.
No further ado, let's head over to our track guide. So here we go, Donington Park GP circuit, 12 turns, 2.5 miles in length. The track itself has some lovely corners to navigate with some fantastic straights for overtaking chucked in for good measure as well. As we said before, T-Mac of course provides these track guides on a Sunday for your enjoyment. So let's hand over to the big man himself now, and he'll show you the ropes of what our racers should be expecting this evening.
Welcome back to another live hot lap video. This time we're at Donington Park GP circuit in the Ginetta GT4 at the start of our GT4 league. So where we go, through the final hairpin, keep it tidy, onto the power, and away we go. So we're going to let the car drift over to the left hand side of the track to open up turn 1, red gate corner. If it's clear in the race, we can use all the pit lane and a little bit more. Down into third, clip the apex, smooth on the power, over the curbs, don't get drawn out into the grass. Through the craner curves, we're going to keep this absolutely pinned into 5th, and we're lining up for the old hairpin. Really, really tricky corner. We're going to slow it down, take 4th, feed it in. Don't be too early on the power as it will take you out wide and that'll invalidate your lap. Heading up towards McLean's into 5th, we're going to keep this pin, get back to the left side of the track now, and then we're going to drop it down into 3rd, feed the car in, be patient, clip the apex at late apex, up to 4th, up to Coppice, the blind turn, take 3rd early, throw the car in, oh, dealing with a huge slap of oversteer, a bit too aggressive on turning, but we got away with it. A little time to have a little breather, head towards the all-important S's, really, really easy to pick up a corner cut. We're going to go early on the brakes, smooth in 3rd, clip the 1st, straight line the 2nd, and away we go, approaching Melbourne hairpin, probably your best overtaking opportunity. Slow it down, a little bit of a lock of the brakes on the way in 1st, smooth on the way out, and then up to Goddard's, the final turn, in 4th, slower than you think, slow it down, stay tight, in 1st gear, keep it tight, smooth on the power, and that is a lap of Donington Park GP.
So there we go. That's a look around the track this evening, Jamie, and that was quick, wasn't it? He's done well there.
Yeah, it really does highlight a few interesting elements of the track, Ryan. Namely, given how many drivers we've got, I reckon we might see quite a few penalties here tonight because it's so easy to just go slightly over those track limits and pick up a little penalty.
Exactly right. For me, I know the track itself overall looks really, really exciting, but actually what stood out for me, that last corner, given how close we're expecting this racing to be, could be the difference between a few places, I think. You know, quite easy to overcook in the heat of the moment. Obviously, you've got to slow down quite well for it and then straight onto that home straight. I think that could be a difference maker this evening.
Yeah, but the track's quite wide there. So, I mean, we could potentially see, 3 abreast going into that corner, all fighting to get round there and get the traction to get off the corner quickest to go ready to start the next lap. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, Ryan. I mean, I've said it before, but I really can't overstate how close I think this is going to be between so many drivers. Yeah,
it is going to be very, very close. I mean, I'm looking at the practice times and they are all ridiculously close. But looking back to the chat, Eric the 7, big thumbs up from here. You guys have a lot to answer for. God, I wonder what we've done to deserve that, Jamie. Muddy Squid, this should be a good one. Kino's there. Jimmy H officials, yeah, we've invested in the big TV in the background. It's where all that money goes, of course. Lady Black Willow, I will be there in 3 months' time. Hopefully it means, you'll be joining us for a race maybe.
Download Festival, Ryan, he's saying. It's at Donington.
Oh, it's at Donington, right. Okay,
that's where they have it, yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, hopefully T-Mac's not driving around the track whilst he's there.
Imagine that, yes. And obviously some comments
people,
comments on the racing, Eric 7 is also just watching that, and not Benjamin Dammy's quick. Yeah, really good track guy. But as Jamie said, the format this evening is a little bit different. 2 races, Jamie. Do you want to talk us through the timings?
Yeah, so we've got a sprint and a feature, which we have seen before, I think, in a one-off, but it's not something we normally see. So we've got a short 15-minute sprint race to start with no mandatory pit, and a standing start. And then following that, we've got a 40-minute feature race where there is a mandatory pit, and it's the manual rolling start that we've got used to seeing. Points for the top 8 in the sprint race, Ryan, and points for the top 15 unusually in the feature race. But what that's doing brilliantly, I think, is actually incentivizing people to really keep pushing, because we've got such a big grid. You don't want to be sat down in 28 thinking I've got no chance, what I'm even fighting for here. So there's plenty for these guys to go at.
Exactly right. As Not Benjamin says, we have seen it in past events in the rookies, namely. But yeah, 1 hour, 10 minutes of pure racing action across 2 races, 2 different qualifying sessions, 2 races overall, loads of points up for grabs. What is there not to like about what we should have in store for everyone this evening? Jamie, as you've mentioned a few times, a lot of races on the track this evening. I've seen 29 out there. Are we expecting any more?
I think there were 32 signed up, but obviously there's always a few with these things that can't make it for whatever reason on the night itself. So We've currently got 29 about to go through into the first qualifying, which, by the way, the qualifying for the sprint race, only 5 minutes. So hard to get a lap in, especially a good one. So, you know, we could see a really crazy starting grid, Ryan, based purely on who can find a bit of space on the track.
Yeah, simple as that. As Jamie said, just 5 minutes of qualifying coming up for this initial sprint race, which, you know, is going to be fantastic. But qualifying all very, very important. So let's head over and watch this initial qualifying session for the first race as we take you trackside at Donington Park. So here we go, the live qualifying session is underway. We're on board with T-Mac, of course, the race organiser on a Sunday. T-Mac led the way in practice, Jamie, but with only 5 minutes to get down a lap, it's anyone's game, I would suggest.
It is, yeah, and just to give people a bit of a heads up, what were the times we're really looking for at the very sharp end tonight is, I think if you can get into those 132s, which is possible, we've seen a few of the guys do it across the weeks of practice. If you can get into 132s, you're going to be right up there, Ryan, but I think there's going to be a ton of people in the 133s. And the 134s as well, so you know we could see maybe 15-20 drivers split by only a couple of seconds, which is madness.
Yeah, absolute scenes out on track is going to be this evening, and we've already had a minute of this qualifying session down, and they're only just warming up their tyres. So I think, Jamie, what is it, one lap I reckon they're going to get in properly tonight? What do you reckon?
I mean, if you're straight out you might get 2 in, but yeah, no more than that. As we flick to Bob Hump here, obviously fresh off his triple championships, you know, I think he's a bit more nervous about this one. This is a real test, and he knows it. There's a lot of quick drivers. We've yet to see him really in a league format up against T-Mac and Jimmy Tillerpan and, you know, Don Tito, those guys. So he really want to be proving himself tonight, Ryan, I think. He
will indeed. Of course, he came very close to the one-off special on a Sunday, which Area Motorsport absolutely gobbled up with a fantastic race. He's of course racing this evening as well. So, you know, so many good races out there, Jamie. Artem Benov, you know, if you remember him, is Area Motorsport here? Have I made that up? Let me just check. No, he is there. He's there too. So yeah, Artem Benov's there, Bibby's there, Zerka's there, Don Tito's there, Mr. Salt's here, and Vertigo's here. I mean, the lineup, Mad Knife's there. You know, he's won races in the past. Sin's there. Roy Klops, I believe, is in here as well. I mean, they've all won races before.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, I have to say, we've got a custom livery this evening.
Yeah, you got to shout out this.
Look at the state of that car. Sin and Rob 3 this evening in a Hello Kitty.
And here he is, look.
I mean, look at it. I mean, it's fantastic. There's some excellent work's gone into it, but at the same account, I mean, what do you think in the chat, guys? Let us know. I mean, that is a phenomenal effort from those guys to be racing in that this evening. Wow. So, yeah, fantastic lineup, fantastic looking cars as well. I mean, only 2 minutes to go, Jamie. I've got no idea. I'm not putting any money where any of my mouths are this evening.
No, it's really difficult. And, you know, we're going to have to say in advance, it is going to be impossible, quite literally impossible for us to cover all the drivers tonight and all the battles. We simply don't have enough cameras or enough people working in our, you know, already huge and impressive studio, Ryan. Should we just just while the laps start to come in, should we just have a quick flick through some of the newer names for guys on the chat? We've got one here.
Who's at top? Who's first? That's a new one, isn't it? Moleman.
Yeah, he's well off the pace at the moment, but yeah, Moleman. I think a few of these were in the last one-off special, right? Yep. But there's so many. So we've got Moleman, Jez. I think is relatively new.
Jez .1. Obviously the
Ziden B we saw really quick, didn't we? But obviously caused a few issues in the race, slightly controversially, but very quick certainly.
Yeah.
Who have we got? Ham Electronics, yeah. I can say it this time, yeah. Who's this one? I don't know this one, Ryan.
Schnevs.
Oh, yeah, Schnevs, yeah, sure, of
course. Why not?
I think that's most of the...
Okay.
of, and then as you know, we've pretty much got everyone else that we've ever seen.
Yes, Drux is there, Bob's there. It's all kicking off. Jimmy Tillaband, Area Motorsport, Rob, so many people. But the times are in, Jamie. We've got 30 seconds to go. T-Mac with a 1:33 on the nose. Bob just behind with a 1:33.1. Jimmy Tillaband just in behind. Look at that. The top 6 only split by a second. It is tight, to say the least.
Yeah, and there we go. Those two guys that we think might, you know, if we had to pick anyone to be fighting right at the sharp end, those are sort of the two proven winners in both qualifying and race pace, Ryan, aren't they? So, but yeah, it's looking like that at the moment. But we saw, didn't we, that the one-off special started with those two, 1 and 2, and the bit of pressure from Bob. T-Mac made a mistake, didn't he? Lost the lead, and then as Bibby just decides to park on the track, so we'll switch to Don Tito again. We know super quick, had a bit of bad luck last week, so he'll be looking to get off to a good start. He obviously won the last Sunday league, didn't he, Ryan?
He did.
In brilliant fashion, actually.
Yeah, really good. So, I mean, as we can see, ladies and gents, fantastic board ahead of us. Muddy Squid, it shows Rob is comfortable with his sexuality driving that car. Yeah, I mean, you said it, not me, but... but
oh, look at this, Ryan. Look at these laps now.
Oh, T-Mac 1:32.3, nearly shaving a whole second of, and Bob not far behind either. Those two are going hammer and tong. The most impressive thing for me, though, Jamie, is the entire 16 races I can see are only split by just under 4 seconds.
That's bonkers, yeah. I mean, it's only 2.5 seconds down to 13th, yeah. We actually, you know, fair play, 27 of the 29 drivers have managed to get a valid lap in this qualifying, which is impressive given, you know, just how short it is. A lot of guys, it obviously has finished now, Ryan, but I wonder if a few guys are still putting laps on Ayrton Bennett coming across the line here. And he improves up to 6th, Ryan, so decent lap again. Look how many guys are in those 1:33s and 34s, Ryan.
It's ridiculous. As we saw last week, Jamie, don't forget, we were blabbering on in the background, and I think it was a late change in the top of the leaderboard on Thursday.
Yeah, of course.
We just weren't keeping an eye on it, so I'm like a hawk tonight watching the top of that board just to see if anyone managed to top it. But no, there we go. So the qualifying session is over. It's T-Mac who's in first place, Bob in second, Berg up to third. We talked about him a little bit last week.
Yep.
Jimmy Tillaband fourth, and here we go. So we're go. 15 minutes of racing ahead of us.
Yeah, just a quick shout on Berg. We obviously mentioned last week, didn't he? He's got very impressive single lap pace, but we haven't seen him put a race together yet, so his race pace is very unknown at this point. But again, sticking it right up there on third on the grid, so he'll be well happy with that and looking to have a clean race. A couple of shouts out. We got Cryon Alpha in 24th. Obviously, you guys can't see everyone, can you?
I've just had a scroll down just so everyone can see the whole list.
Okay, Odyssey in 27th. Those were the two people asked about. But Mad Knife in 19th. So yeah, please do shout out on chat if you want to see anyone in particular, guys, because I understand the top 16 are the ones that show mainly on the screen for you.
Indeed. So we're just waiting for the screen flash and the word syncing to appear, which lets us know that we're ready to go.
Oh,
but it's T-Mac who leads the way, and it is a standing start in this first race. A standing
Look at this view from the back. It's round the corner,
It's round the corner.
That's how many cars we've got. Look how many cars there are. It's like a car park.
And I'm not being funny. Roy Klopp's in 28th place. He's a good racer. Obviously, just didn't get time to put a lap in.
He's actually not last. There's one more, sorry.
Yeah, he's incredible. These two
are really quick.
Good racers.
So they didn't get laps in, right? Yeah, those two, they didn't get laps in.
But that's how crazy it's going to be. Yeah, we got 4 weeks of this, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, though.
Here we go.
T-Mac and Higgs Boson, of course, on the same team. One starting first and last. Sandwiching the whole grid. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are away. Oh, a little bit of movement a bit early there from T-Mac. I think he's got away with it. But he's off, and Bob's in just behind. Berg in third place, Area Motorsport fourth. And everyone seems to be in position around that first corner, although Area Motorsport's just made a gain on Berg up into third place. That's a good little manoeuvre.
T-Mac's gone wide.
Although Area Motorsport's dropped down again into fourth, so that's how tight it is. Yeah, a little bit wide from T-Mac there, but he's doing really well at the moment to hold it on. Look how close they are, Jamie, but clean start, I believe.
Really good start. I haven't seen any major incidents so far. Everyone's sort of on the timings on those snevs. Looks like he's dropped down to last place, so he's obviously had a little incident there. Yeah, look, this just looks insane, Ryan. Look how many cars there are as we see Area Motorsport getting really saucy.
Oh no!
He's at the back of Berg.
Oh my days!
Oh, Ryan.
There's people all over the track. Oh,
This is chaos.
absolute chaos there. We'll try and bring you a replay of that if we can. But Jamie, I was just about to say, T-Mac's got a penalty. I'm not sure what sort of
2
penalty it
seconds.
is. 2
2
seconds.
seconds.
2 seconds penalty for T-Mac. We're going to get you a replay of that start now coming up on the stream.
Oh.
Oh, incredible scenes. So it was nice and clean, and then we had that. So
So I think what triggered that, Ryan, sorry, I think Area Motorsport just didn't anticipate Berg's braking zone and just went straight into the back of him. Those two had a little coming together which spun them round, and then because there's just so many cars on this tight track, there was nowhere for them to go, and it just...
It's an interesting start to the race, but it's T-Mac who leads the way, even though he has a 2-second penalty to contend with. Bob just in behind, half a second behind. Jimmy Tulipan in third place.
There's a load of winners there.
And I think we're losing. Oh, well, I'm certainly losing Jamie on. Oh, my stream is offline. I don't know what's going on here. Got some error messages popping up. My whole PC's deciding to freeze on me. Are we live? Everyone can hear me still? Fingers crossed. I think the replay software is having an absolute paddy here this evening, so we'll just pop that down for the time being. Hopefully everyone's still with us. Has the stream gone? Mine's frozen. Might need to refresh.
Ryan, it looks like that replay has caused a massive issue again. The stream went down, and your Discord went crazy for a bit there.
Yeah, I'm just exiting the stream software. Are we back? Are we back? Hopefully we're around.
I think it's working.
We've binned off the replay software because that appears to be causing a lot of issues here this evening. So we've binned that off. Hopefully we're back now. Maybe a little refresh if you guys can still hear us or see. But yeah, hopefully it's not going to cause too many issues. I've got no errors on my screen now.
It's working okay now, Ron. Yeah, I would advise perhaps not doing any more replays today. It's not working well for us, that, is it?
No, the replay software is not the best it was to.
Well, you haven't missed too much. It's still really close out the front, although Jimmy Tulipan in third has now also got a 1-second penalty. So as we expected, these penalties are going to be coming in. But Higgs Boson, Ryan, he started plumb last. He's up to 12.
Unbelievable. So 11th, just so you say that. 11th.
Oh, 11th. He's on a charge, Ryan, but we know he's super quick. Mad Knife in 10th, doing really well. Mr. Salt started, I think, 15th or something like that. He's up to 9th. So all the chaos at the start is causing... and we've actually lost 3 drivers, Ryan. We're down to 26. As we see a few guys going off there.
Yeah, so apologies for disappearing momentarily. I can't even say the word, ladies and gents. We've binned off the replay software for the evening because that is the cause of so many issues on this stream. It seems to have a mind of its own. But as we were saying, if you did miss out, Jamie's just given us a nice little recap. But all we do know is there's still loads of close racing to be had. Mr. Salt just in behind Johnny Walno in 9th place at the moment. Of course, it's the top 16 people that get points tonight. But remember, it's, you know, every point counts. So it's no good.
Just the top 8 in this race,
top
right?
8,
remember?
Sorry, in this race.
Sprint,
16 for the next race, sorry.
Top 15
so
in the next,
going.
It's an interesting line around the outside. It's a really good battle between these two guys. It looks like he's got the run on him.
Yeah, Mr. Salt's got the run on him there into the corner. He's done really well, and Johnny Walno's actually given out 2 places. Higgs Boson comes up the inside as well. Fantastic
He's
racing.
steaming through, Ryan, isn't he?
Yeah, doing really well. 3 penalties at the top of the grid now of T-Mac, Jimmy Tulipan and Area Motorsport, all with 2 second penalties. So
if Bob can keep this clean, Ryan,
he's got it, hasn't he? Yeah,
he's got a great chance.
He has got a great chance indeed. Right, on board with Bob Hump. He can see T-Mac just ahead. But T-Mac racing really well at the moment, just holding on to that first place position. But he'll be full aware that he needs to get 2 seconds ahead. So I feel like, Jamie, T-Mac might try and push it here.
Well, he needs to. I mean, this is his first real challenge, I have to say, though, Ryan, because already these two are seeming like the standouts. They've dropped Don Titor on third. He's 7 seconds off the lead now. These two are in a class of their own at the moment. And then it is just so close all the way down the grid. A great shout for Rob 3, having a cracking race up in 5th position. We're doing really well. I think he likes these cars. And obviously we get a chance to see that lovely pink livery again. Jimmy Tulipan actually dropped down to 6th. His position's changed all over the shop. Madnuf up to 8th, driving really well. And Mr. Brisket as well in 7th position in a field of this quality. That is a cracking effort from Mr. Brisket.
Yeah, some fantastic drives from people out there, not so good drives from others, which is of course the nature of the races that we see.
Looks like we've lost Drux trying, and he's in the chat. He must have been in that big crash.
Yeah, Drux was a part of the big crash, obviously. So gutting for Drux, because we love a bit of Drux at the NoobGamerz, because he of course helps us out massively with his track guide videos, and he's a fantastic racer too. So really unfortunate to see him drop out of the race from getting spun up into the air. But on board with Johnny One Note, Jamie, 11th place, decent for him. There's a lot of good drives out there, but it's just so close all over the place. We're struggling to keep on board with all the action at the moment.
Right, you know I get the little battle indicators. I've got one on every single spot from 9th to 14th. Drux, just to answer your question, it looked to us like Area Motorsport just went into the back of Berg slightly, which caused those two to spin, and then they obviously was spun in the middle of the track as the main pack came through, which just obviously, and blocking it, which just caused a big pile-up, and there were a few cars, I'm assuming obviously you were one of them, getting involved. That's Salty, not Brisket. I'm wondering whether there's a big delay on the chat, Ryan, because certainly when I said that, it was Mr. Brisket we were on with.
Well, yeah, not sure. I'm just seeing what I can see. I'm on board with Mad Knife at the moment. He's in 10th place, just in behind Mr. Salt. Mr. Salt in 9th place at the moment. Just a second split in the two of them. Just ahead of them, they've got Higgs Boson, but Higgs Boson does have a penalty. So if they can stay close into Higgs Boson, then they will get the opportunity to pass him come the final standings. And because it is the top 8 that get points here this evening, Jamie, Mr. Salt and Mad Knife in their current position might have an opportunity to overtake Higgs Boson by virtue of that penalty. So going to be an interesting finish, that one, it says.
Yes, but of course we've seen Higgs Boson come from plumb last on the grid up to 8th in sort of, you know, not even 10 minutes. So we know he's got some ridiculous pace when he can go. As we see someone go wide there in the back. Who was that? Was that Sin?
Yeah.
Sin. That was Sin, unfortunately. He was having a good battle with Seb, actually, but he's lost out there.
Really unfortunate from Sim, but yeah, as you said, Seb's a name we haven't even spoken about this evening.
I mean, he's in 11th, and Area Motorsport in 13th. Yeah. I mean, Area Motorsport won the last race, right?
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Although, little touch there, Seb and Area Motorsport actually going at it nearly. Oh, we've lost someone else going off for the spin.
Who's that, right?
So I'm going to guess, looking down, John Blass, is it? It's Blass, yeah, Blass we lost there. Or who's just behind Blass? Johnny One Note, sorry, Johnny One Note. Oh, so many cars to keep up with this evening.
Yeah.
All going on. But yeah, Sin taking a spin. On board with Jimmy Tulipan though, and he's just done Artem Benner for 5th place. Oh, Rob, sorry, for 5th place. So Rob in 6th now. Artem Benner just ahead of them. So much action out on track here, ladies and gentlemen. It is difficult to keep an eye on everything that's going on, but we're going to do our best still. We're still trying our best to watch everything we can as we switch over to Higgs Boson. He's attacking Mr.
Driver
Brisket.
of the race so far, right?
Yeah, driver of the race so far, indeed.
Already pushing 7th. I mean, what a recovery drive.
Yeah, from 29th on the grid. Higgs Boson up to 8th. He does have a penalty, though, which might cost him if everyone can stay around.
It's only 2 seconds.
Yeah. So he's going to have to get past Mr. Brisket and then some if he wants to snap up 7th place with that penalty on board. Mr. Brisket driving really well, you have to say, in 7th place so far, though. Holding him off with Bay. There's a little gap. The top 6, there seems to be a little gap. And then you sort of have the top 2 on their own. T-Mac looks to have pulled ahead at this point, though, Jamie. Over 2 seconds ahead of Bob now.
Well, 5 minutes to go. Bob might just be, you know, letting his tyres cool and just try and get back in that 2-second window at the end, which is the only time it really matters, Ryan.
Very true, so we'll have to keep an eye on that at the top end of the grid. But Rob racing really well in 6th place, catching up Jimmy Tulipan in 5th at the moment. Jimmy Tulipan does have a penalty as well, though, so if Rob can stay within a little bit of time, he'll have an opportunity maybe to catch up. Higgs Boson is through, so yeah, Mr. Brisket's obviously made a little mistake there, or of course Higgs Boson has absolutely done into a corner. We've just missed that as we were looking at Rob. Jamie, I'm going to be out of breath soon. So much going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to keep up with all the battles. Let's go to Snebs. I've dropped right back to the back of the pack at the start of the race, and he's now on the tail of Roughneck One, trying to work his way back. So he's gained 6 or 7 places, which is really good. We're down to 24, which is still a massive grid, but we started with 29, of course. Hopefully we've got a bit more time to catch our breath in the feature race, right? But I can't believe there's only 4 minutes left of this race already.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I mean, so many cars, so much action, and it's only 15 minutes worth of racing, and everyone is going hammer and tong to make sure they get the highest place possible that they can. Of course, we've got a 40-minute race to follow And if that's as hectic as this, we're going to have a hell of a show in store. But it's Mr. Brisket holding off Mr. Salt, currently in 8th place. They're just in behind Higgs Boson, who's of course made that miraculous run. And it looks like Salty was just going to go down the inside there.
Sorry,
Oh, it's neck and neck round that corner. He doesn't quite pull it off the manoeuvre that he was hoping for into that corner. Is he going to do it here?
Very late braking there. Not quite enough.
Oh, I think Mr. Brisket might be going too wide. And yes, Mr. Salt cheekily goes on the inside there. And he's going to pull across. Yeah, I thought that might happen just to make sure Mr. Brisket knows he's there. And there's a great old battle.
Lots of movement there, Ryan.
Yeah, great.
Lots of movement in the braking zone. A little bit naughty from Salty. He moved across the track 2 or 3 times in the braking zone there to defend that position. So some might consider that blocking, I'd have to say. But he's got the move done. Yeah. And that's what matters at the moment. No, nothing too major, but you're only meant to move once in the braking zone to defend your place. So a little bit of weaving, but we'll move on. This battle for 5th is still going on, right? With Jimmy, Ayrton Benner, and Rob 3 hanging in there. Boson seems like he's reached about as high as he can get with his pace, having to recover, probably burn through his tyres. So he's in 7th now and seeming like he's not really catching these guys, so perhaps he's settled for that. Out front, almost 3 seconds now the lead. So Bob, if he wants to win this race, he's going to have to really step on it.
Yeah, Bob's got to put his foot down to catch up T-Mac, who's having a fantastic drive up front. You look at those last lap times, and T-Mac has nearly got a whole half second on Bob at the moment. Speaking of Higgs Boson though, Jamie, he's doing really well. 134.5s isn't bad, but as you said, the tyres might start shredding as he he's put in some.
That's a great recovery drive, Ryan, isn't it?
Fantastic from him. Mr. Brisket just outside of the places at the moment where
his battles, Ryan, all over the place. Look.
Yeah, so we're back on board with Sin. He's got his wonky bumper. We of course saw him fly off earlier. He's just in behind Blas. Of course, as Jamie said earlier, every time a car gets within a second of another car, he gets a little notification and his screen is going wild.
It's just lighting up, right? Just lighting up.
The dashboard is lighting up. So we are doing our best to try and keep on board with all the action. But it is inevitable, I'm afraid, that we're going to miss something. But hopefully we can catch all the good stuff. But the Hello Kitty car doing a little wave of the bumper as he goes around this track.
Yeah.
Looking really, really good. On board with Roughneck 1 though, and he's catching Snevs in 17th place at the moment.
And Crichton right there as well, Ryan. These 3 stuck together like glue at the moment.
Look at that. Crichton Alpha are holding 2 people off at bay at the moment. It looks like they've got a little bit more pace. I feel like they're really pushing to get past here. But at the moment, Crichton Alpha is holding that door firmly closed. And Roughneck 1 and Snevs are doing all they can to try and catch. But we'll have to keep an eye on it with just a minute to go now. Not long. So if Crichton Alpha can hold on, he would have done very well there. But Snevs is all up in his grill for 16th place. But
yeah, and sorry, Ryan, it looks to me like Bob has accepted 2nd place in this race. He's dropped. He just doesn't have the race pace of T-Mac, it seems, in this situation. In this weather conditions with these tyres, so he's about half a second a lap slower each lap, although last lap a bit more than that, so he's almost 4 seconds off now. So even with that 2-second penalty, and it is still 2, I mean, it's still a cracking result, 2nd place, Ryan, in this first race. Obviously the next race is where the big points are.
Yeah,
as Higgs Boson's put it in the wall.
No,
after all that, Ryan.
Boson, we spoke about him in glowing terms earlier on. And he's struggling to get out of there. Comes from 29th on the grid up to 7th place.
Going to be back there in a minute.
Yeah, and unfortunately, ladies and gents, he has gone into wall. He's just waiting for a time to ease his way back on the track. So
well played. Well played.
Really well played from him. But so unfortunate. Jamie, what's been going on in the chat? I haven't been able to keep an eye on it.
Plenty of hump chat. It's always hump related on a Sunday stream because the Eastbourne crew are in, aren't they?
Yeah. Rolfie,
Benji and Trev all supporting their boy Bob, and Matt also in the race. Crichton Alpha. Where is Crichton Alpha? He's down in 20th. We saw him holding off those guys a minute ago, Ryan, so he must have had a bit of an incident and just pushed him back to 20th. Not sure what's happened there.
Yeah, obviously some racing incident has happened, and Odyssey's actually caught these 2 now. We're on the final lap now, ladies and gents, for most of these people. There it is. As I say that, the race complete sign pops up
T-Mac wins.
As if by virtue. T-Mac grabs the win in this initial sprint race. Bob in second, just in behind, and Don Tito looks like he's grabbed the final podium place this evening, but still points up for grabs all the way down to 8th. Mr. Brisket holding on to that place at the moment. How close is Seb, or has he already crossed the line, James?
Very close, Ryan, yeah. I'm not sure.
Oh, last corner! Last corner! Here we go!
Not
Has he got it?
enough.
No, not quite enough. So Seb just misses out. Just thought we were going to have a little bit of excitement.
Don't know
into
what
the
happened
final
to him,
race,
Ryan.
but yeah, Seb down in 9th, which is quite shocking. You know, Seb's normally got some decent pace, but
Sin got one last go in this.
Go on, Sin. What have you got for us? Sin's going to push blast all the way to the end. Here we go. What's he going to do into these final few bits? Has he got
Any
enough?
mistakes?
Oh, no, doesn't quite have it.
And let's jump back with Snevs. Can he have a run into the last corner, maybe, Ryan?
Let's see what Snevs has got in the locker. Chasing Roughneck 1. Oh, that's too wide. I don't think that's going to be enough, is it? Unless he slingshots him
Going
at
for
the
the
inside.
slingshot, right?
No, doesn't quite pull it off. So there we go, ladies and gents. Race 1 comes down to a close, and as we say that, GP Neville drops us the follow. Really appreciate you dropping us a follow here this evening, my friend. Hopefully you're enjoying the racing in front of you. But wow, there we go. T-Mac first, Bob second, Don Tito third, Jimmy Tillapan fourth, Robin fifth,
Yeah.
Art and Benner sixth. Although saying that, let's see how the penalties affect it. So here's official confirmation. T-Mac, Bob, Don Tito take your top 3 with Jimmy Tillaban, Rob 3, Arten Benner, Mr. Salt, Mr. Brisket taking up your top 8 in that first race. It's Seb, Area Motorsport, Mad Knife, Moolman, Blast, Sin, Higgs Bosun, Roughneck 1, Snebs, Odyssey, and a few others. But your top 8 is confirmed. Let's head back to the studio. Woo! So there we go. Race 1. I'm exhausted from that already. So much action there, Jamie, to keep up. But fantastic racing we saw again from everyone.
Yeah, it was. And actually, after all that, the two we sort of did expect to see out there at the front did end up being the case. But they weren't as close at the end as we perhaps thought. T-Mac having a comfortable last few laps. However, whether Bob just wanted to play it safe, make sure he brought it home in a really good second place, did not push it too much, perhaps. A shout from Mr. Brisket, Ryan, I think. The star performer of that top 8. The others, we were used to seeing them up there, all race winners. But Mr. Brisket, a cracking result to get the points there, right?
Yeah, really good result from Mr. Brisket. He's, of course, thrown himself headlong into the NoobGamerz community recently, so we're really pleased for him getting stuck into the races. We know we like his support on social media. But yeah, great race so far. If you think there should be another driver of the race, please let us know in the chat. Any thoughts welcome, of course. We will discuss it. But from what I saw there, I'm really looking forward to the second race, Jamie.
Yeah, and the chat in the lobby from between the drivers, right, is kicking off as to the cause of that first lap incident we saw, which put so many really quick guys out of contention for this race. You know, there's comments flying around. You know, no one obviously is really sure at the moment what happened, but they're all going to need to calm their heads, because we saw a few really quick guys, didn't we? Berg, Area Motorsport, guys like that. They got taken out and they quit the race, so they've had to sit there waiting for this race to finish, stewing on it. Drux as well, waiting. You know, it's going to be quite hard to get their head back together, calm down, patient and ready to go again, Ryan.
Yeah, of course, a 15-minute race. It is just gung-ho, let's get stuck in and see what happens. But with a 40-minute race, as you say, Jamie, ahead of them, they are going to have to compose themselves, because it's a long old race, good battling that I'm sure will come to fruition. And if they go in with perhaps an emotional view on what happened in the last race, then they could, struggle going into this 40-minute race.
Yeah, Trev with a shout for Higgs Boson. Yeah, of course, I think he absolutely would have been our driver of the race if it wasn't for his issue at the end. Saying that T-Mac threw a can of oil out the window there to slow Bob down. Yeah, maybe. To cause the crash. Yeah, could have been. But, you know, fair play to T-Mac. The pressure was on him, Ryan, because, you know, all the talk's always been he's the guy.
Yep.
But he had a really poor race, didn't he, in the last race we saw. The pressure was on him. Can he stay at the top? And so far, he's driving beautifully.
Yeah, top of practice, top of qualifying, top of race 1. He cannot do much more than that. He's certainly showing us what he's about in this GT4 Championship, which of course kicks off tonight. Not long to go now, I don't think, until we're heading straight into qualifying of race 2. Just 10 minutes, which, you know, double the amount of time than what we saw before, but still not that much time.
No, still not that much time, but it should give them, I mean, it's double, isn't it? So it should give them a good chance to actually get some laps in. I'm sure Higgs Boson would much rather start in a more appropriate place for his speed than having to come through the entire pack again, Ryan.
Yes, exactly. He'll certainly be looking to improve on his previous qualifying session. But yes, it looks like I'm just seeing 60 seconds, then we go. So
they're just having a 2-minute breather, Ryan. Gather their thoughts.
Indeed, yeah. So less than 60 seconds away now, ladies and gents, from throwing ourselves over to a trackside again. It should be good, though, shouldn't it, Jamie? Really good.
Well, we've had a warm-up, Ryan. That was the warm-up, and it was fantastic. We obviously don't want to see big crashes, but I have to say it was bloody exciting, wasn't it? I mean, it was chaos. Looks like we got 28 drivers at the moment in the lobby, so whether one has decided that one was enough. We do have Berg back, and we do have Area back, so the 2 guys involved that triggered the start of that incident. Chat going off all over here, people sort of saying stuff about other things. But, you know, 40 minutes to go, right, is a much longer race you can afford. It was a bit frantic, wasn't it, because it was quick. But you can afford to be more patient in this race and cause pit stops as well.
Indeed. But we've had the timer. The timer has gone down to 0, and we are revving up the engines for this next qualifying session. So, I don't know what you think, Jamie. Should we head over and have a look, see what we got installed?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Race 1 complete. We're on the qualifying session of race 2 now. So let's head over to the side of the track and see who is going to put an early marker down for this feature race. 40 minutes of racing ahead of us. 10-minute qualifying session to go. Plenty of action, I'm sure, coming your way. Let's head over there right away. So here we go, we're trackside again, on board with the previous winner, T-Mac. He's done really, really well there, Jamie, and I'm sure he'll be looking to put in a similar performance this time around.
Yeah, he will, absolutely. 10 minutes to go. We'll try and get a view of some different drivers here. Obviously, we've got 26 in this session, right? So it seems 3 guys have decided that sprint race was enough for them. We do have, I'm just checking those 2 guys. We do have Berg. And we do have Area. Okay, so those are the 2 guys involved. One's whether one of them had lost their head. Have we got
Drux is there? Yeah, I can see Drux.
He's there, yeah. He's there, yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's do it again, Ryan. It was super close in qualifying, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ryan, this is going to be fantastic.
It's going to be fantastic. Just looking back to the chat, I feel like I've neglected the chat here this evening, Lenya. I apologise.
It's a bit mad.
It's a bit mad. Just looking back. So, Trevor Hunt, nice win. T-Mac, Rolfie says well done to T-Mac. Blasotto, hi mum. Love that from Blasotto.
Nice.
KGB Terminator using caps lock at will.
She says hi, Blasotto.
She says hi. Using caps lock at will, getting a Nightbot timeout. So hopefully learnt his lesson there. And yeah, Trevor's obviously been going on about the Higgs being the best racer, but he now says go on Bob. Of course, the Eastbourne crew out in 4. So 1 minute and 30 seconds already down, Jamie. 8 minutes to go.
And we're up to 28 drivers now, Ryan, which is great. So we're only 1 off the first session. Okay. I just want to give a shout out for Rob 3. He had some serious pace in that race and coming home in a brilliant 5th position. He'll be looking to repeat that and perhaps even better it and sneak onto the podium, Ryan.
Yeah, fantastic race from him. He's, of course, put a lot of effort, as you can see, into this car by the look of it. And he's delivering on the track as well. So it's all well and good. You know, it's like a footballer in bright yellow boots. If you're going to pop some bright yellow boots on, you've got to be damn sure you're going to do something in them. And that is what he's doing in this car tonight.
Ryan, sorry, I got some tragic news for you and all the viewers.
Yeah.
Our main man, Higgs Boson, super unlucky in the first qualifying session. Coming into this, had a storm of a race.
Yeah.
He's got a 1 grid place penalty. He can't buy a victory in qualifying at the moment, can he?
No.
He can't buy a lap
Higgs
at the
Boson
moment.
is struggling out there this evening, which is so bad to see. We know how quick he is. We saw him come from 29th all the way up, but it's just not appearing to be his night. He is, of course, in a team with T-Mac. So, you know, for team points, they're going to be...
doing well.
The team's doing okay so far. Yeah, not too bad at all. But, hey, as a team, you take second and third over first and last, I'm sure. So we'll see how that develops. But Bibby's popped down the first time of this qualifying session. Not going to be a challenger, but what it does signal to us, Jamie, is times are going to start coming in now.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go. 6 minutes left. Interesting to see what Berg can do in this one-lap pace, where he seems to be a time trial specialist, it seems. Again, not having the best of luck in the race there for whatever reason. That can be debated afterwards. And Zaiden B as well. Another one who got caught up in that initial incident. Team out with a 136, well off the pace. Just getting their warm-up laps in, right, I think.
Yeah, I think they can certainly take it a little bit more steady here. Obviously, last time out it was pretty frantic as Higgs Boson jumps to the top of the pack and Sin's getting in there now. So some decent times being posted so far.
Still a few seconds off.
Yeah, we know there's more pace to come from these guys as the times start to lower down. Rob now hitting the 134s. But yeah, do you think it's a different mentality into this qualifying session, Jamie? Maybe they're going to try and time a hot lap as opposed to just going for it all the way around.
Maybe, but of course I forgot to mention it is actually slightly different weather conditions. It's later in the day now, about 5 p.m, and there is some cloud around, which does affect the track temperature and does affect the levels of grip they got. So maybe we won't see quite the times we did before, but Johnny won that with a 133.9, a great first effort for him. Currently pole. Will we see anyone in the 32s again, Ryan? That's the question.
That is the question on everyone's lips. It was, of course, T-Mac and Bob who managed to get themselves in the 132 club last time around, but it's Johnny one note lead in the way at the moment with a 133.9, and I have
with
an
a
inkling.
scratch.
Yes.
With a crash screen,
I've got a little inkling we might see someone better that, but 5 minutes to go.
We will.
You know, anything could happen. Maybe everyone just has a shocker and Johnny one note leads the way with a 133.
Yeah, suddenly the rain comes or something, and that's it.
Indeed. So, on board with Berg, we've spoken about a few times, time trial specialist.
Here we go.
Oh, there it is.
Team with the 163 Berg.
I'm just going to say about T-Mac, he banged a 133 on the nose as his first season. He's slightly off the pace here, Jamie.
He's 1,000ths of a tenth slower, right? That's disappointing for him.
Yeah, come on, T-Mac, sort it out, mate.
Talking about consistency.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Airy Motorsport up there again, Ryan. 133.8.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, Vertigo we haven't seen yet, and a monster. But it looks like the Batmobile, doesn't it?
Look at that car.
Has got the KTM, I think that is, right?
Nice. So 4 minutes to go, and it's T-Mac top of the perch again, just outside the 132 club by literally half a millimetre. So someone's going to have to wrestle that place off him at the moment. Bob is closest challenger from the previous session. Currently down in 17th place. A 137 is the best he can muster so far. So we're sort of pinning our hopes on Bob to maybe be the challenger for T-Mac. But of course, this leaderboard is so strong. A challenge could come from anywhere.
Well, Bibby's right there, right? Only 4/10. I mean, that's nothing. That's a whisker, really, in what these guys are doing. Only 4/10 of a second. So Bob coming round the S's here, and coming down to reach the end of the lap. We'd be interested. Let's stay on board with Bob, obviously the closest challenger in race 1, and see if he can put a lap in to get up there.
Let's see. So he's going to make his way around the final few corners. He was, of course, just so close behind T-Mac in the qualifying session in the last race, and of course, you know, didn't quite manage to match him for pace during the course of the race either. But here we go. He's going to cross the line here. Is he going to make better of his 20th position at the moment? 4th, 133.8. Not bad. But Bibby and Artem Ben are currently ahead of him in the race to catch T-Mac.
Yeah, and Don Titor, another guy we expect to be up there in 14th. Yeah, these guys just taking a bit more time, aren't they, to get these laps in tonight, in this session. Sorry, Ryan. Yeah,
a lot of cars, remember, out on the track, though. You know, traffic out there is going to be an issue, but they seem to be coping okay with it so far. Don Titor in 14th, we saw someone spin off ahead of him, so he's not far away from crossing the line now. So we'll see if Don Titor can make an advance. But currently T-Mac leads the way with Bibby in 2nd place. It's Artem Benner in 3rd, Bob 4th, Johnny One Note 5th, Area Motorsport 6th, and Berg in 7th, with Seb in 8th. So we're starting
Johnny's
to
actually
more pace.
improved that time. He's taken a tenth off it, 1:33.9 to 1:33.8. So he's got some serious pace with these guys today, Ryan. As Don Tito crosses the line. Bang! Straight up to second.
There he goes. Don Tito, 1:33.3. Good stuff.
Very tight, isn't it,
Very
Ryan?
tight. And interestingly, Jamie, Mr. How's it flipped to Mr. Sort? I read my screen.
Sorry.
T-Mac, sorry, in
Yep.
in the pits, which
In the pits, yep.
might mean we won't see an improvement from him on that time. So the
Yeah, he
door,
won't have time now,
the
right.
doors is the door ajar for someone to bang in a 1:32 here?
Well, I mean, we've seen and we did say the weather conditions might make the track slightly less grippy, so no one's managed the 1:32s at the moment. You think the only guy that probably could is T-Mac, and yeah, no more time to do another lap. Everyone apart from one guy done a lap, Ryan, and it's the same guy as last time. Roy Klops sat in the pits. He was sat in the pits last time. I don't know whether he's consciously decided to not bother with qualifying. Maybe he likes a challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or whether he's had some issues. I'm not sure. But same as last qualifying, he's not done a lap and he's still in the pits. So that is not changing for him today. But yeah, look how close this is, Ryan. Oh, there's Bob. Look at that.
Oh, so
look how
close.
close it is.
So close. So Bob reams into second place with a 1:33, nearly on the nose, but not quite on the nose as
He's got
T-Mac.
another lap, Ryan.
There is, of course, another lap to go, as Jamie points out, and everyone
this
seems
is
to be
his
letting
last
him
chance.
past. A lot of good guys still out there, but the shocking thing for me, we've got 1:33s all the way down to 8th place.
Yeah.
Just again goes to show the quality on show we have here this evening.
Yeah, he's getting into the groove, isn't he? Unlike T-Mac. And that's done it.
Well done,
So there we
Jamie.
go,
Well
we'll move
done.
on.
Commentators
he's getting
curse.
into the-
Commentators
and there it
curse.
is, yeah.
Commentators curse.
Rob's 3 down in 11th, trying to be disappointed with that. We know he can be quicker than this. He'll want to get into those 1:33s, I think. So, again, he's got a chance. Anyone who crosses the line before these last 10 seconds are over does get another lap, of course. Although Rob's not going to be one of them. Let's see what he can do on his final flying lap.
Here we go. Rob, of course, yes, in 11th place at the moment, but did really well in the final race to finish in a decent position.
Look at the top 3 now, Ryan.
Oh, look at how close they are. Don Tito getting within an whisker, and
Oh,
Rob
yeah, there he
shoots
goes.
up to 6th.
Beautiful
So Rob
lap.
up to 6th. And now we have the top 11 racers all in the 1:33 club, which is just crazy.
Look at those top 3, though. They were they were the 200ths of a second. Unbelievable.
Crazy stuff at the top of this leaderboard. It just shows how close it is. But T-Mac at the moment holding on to first place unless we see a late challenge. There's 80 seconds to go. A few more people still out there. Let's see if anyone can just shock the system.
Well, these two are it's Jimmy and someone on their hot lap, Ryan. Jimmy should be up there as well. He'll be disappointed down in 11th as well. He's always up there on the single pace.
Here he goes, Jimmy Tillepan. He's going to have a go.
Okay.
Oh, 6th, not bad. Again, another member of the 133 club. So the top 10 now in the 133 club overall.
I think everyone's probably finished, Ryan.
Yeah, I think that's everyone done. 50 seconds to go. Mr. Sol
Well, that
crosses
is a
50th
cracking
place.
qualified ride. Those top 3 split by literally a hair on the track. Unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy scenes here at Donington for what is round 1 of the GT4s. Everyone's seemingly in the pits now, so we should be getting our final confirmation of our podium positions for the qualifying session as we head into a 40-minute race. I'll speak as quick as I can. T-Mac first, Bob second, Don Tito third, Bibby fourth, Artem Bennett fifth, Jimmy Tilleman sixth, Rob seventh, Johnny Wonder eighth, Area Motorsport ninth, Berg in 10th. There's the top 10, ladies and gentlemen, as we head over to the track for the 40-minute showdown. Jamie, who's going to win?
Oh, Ryan. I'm going to go for Bob on this one. I feel like he's got his eye
here
in.
he is, yeah. Bob,
I don't
it's
know.
always Bob, isn't it?
Well, I don't want to just say T-Mac because it's obvious, too obvious. He won the first. All right, I'll go for someone. I'll go for Area Motorsport from 9th with an unlikely win. There you go. That's my outsider shout.
So get your bets on now, ladies and gentlemen. Jamie, and he gets every single prediction correct. He's putting all his money and his house on Area Motorsport to win this
I'm going
race.
Roy Klops then,
by winning this racing by 10 seconds. You heard it here first. He said Area Motorsport is going to shock the nation and win this race. So get your money on that one. I mean, that's how I heard it. So that's what I'm going to go with.
That sounds roughly similar to what I
Yeah,
said.
roughly similar. But yeah, let us
Okay.
know in the chat who you think's going to win this race. KGB Terminator says Team Hello Kitty for the win. That is, of course, Rob and Sin. You can just see that that pink car just sat there.
Do you wanna have a look?
Look at it. Oh, look at it. Look at the state of that thing. Oh, I
Back
love
from
it.
behind. Is that
Yeah,
better?
we need to find out who Emma is. I feel like I should know, but I can't
Emma?
remember. Yeah, it says Emma on the back of the car.
Yeah. Is that one of their daughters, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. We'll try
Could
and
be
find
Rob's
out.
daughter.
Yeah, we'll try and
Yeah.
find out. If anyone knows, let us know, because I'm keen to know. Keen to learn. But we're waiting for the screen to flash. We're waiting for the word sinking, which will signal the start of this race. It's going a little bit longer than normal.
Who are you shouting for, Ryan? Who's your
I'm
shot
going to
manager?
go for a Don Titor victory. on
Okay,
this one.
good. Glad
Mainly
you didn't say
again,
Team Matt, though.
mainly again like you, because I don't,
Yeah.
it's too easy to say Team Matt. Where's the
Too
fun
easy.
in that? Where's the fun in that?
Now, Ryan, is another prediction. Do you think we're going to see another first lap pile up?
Yes.
Okay. We got 28 cars. It seems likely.
Oh!
Here we go.
There we go. The flash of the screen is done. There's the word sinking. It's a manual rolling start here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, of course, yes.
Manual rolling start, so we're not going to see it all kick off straight. Although someone in the distance just rammed into the back of someone I saw.
What has happened there?
Oh, dearie me. Who was that? Johnny One Note, I think, forgot and just
Oh,
drove straight into
no.
the back of someone.
Just put his foot down. Gone into the back of Jimmy Tillifan. Oh, no.
Oh, no. never mind.
He'll be livid. Has he got damage? Can we see any damage,
No, I
Ryan?
can't really see it. It's just
Looks
like,
okay.
Yeah, we don't get told those things on in Race Central, but yeah, just funny. I just saw that in the background. But yeah,
Don't know if he hit him or not, or managed to stop inside, but it didn't look great.
no, didn't look great at all. Oh, Roy Klopp's lead in the back.
Yeah,
Is
he's the man.
We only got 26, Jamie. So
We got 26,
yeah,
right? Yeah, he's don't know what's happening with the Roy Clubs there. He might be having a few technical issues because he's sat out both qualifying, like we said, and now he's sort of glitching over the track a bit. So maybe he's struggling with his machine a bit. Yeah. Anyone you want to look at in the field particularly, Ryan, or chat? Any shouts for anyone?
We've got
Legion we haven't even seen today
No.
down in 21st.
We've got a
We've seen
shout
him up
for
right.
Ham Electronics.
Hamels, yeah.
There he is.
There he is.
Ham Electronics. Diest51 says go Ham. There's your boy, currently in 20th place at the moment, my friend. Hopefully you can make better on that at the moment. But yeah, the manual rolling start is underway. We haven't seen any incidents at the moment apart from that one straight off the line, which was humorous to say the least.
Look at these cars.
Look
Ryan.
at it. It's fantastic.
Cars there are. It's like a motorway queue, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine if you saw all these cars on the general motorway there. You'd be like, what is going on? A few bollards being knocked about here. Sin in 11th in that amazing looking car. Don Titor 3rd, having a little weave around. Oh, looks fantastic, but we're waiting for these final few corners. We're not far away now, ladies and gentlemen. So T-Mac's going to lead this manual rolling start. He's just biding his time, as you can see. Just, holding off a little bit, waiting sure they're all lined up. Trying to get a nose ahead, because, of course, this was this last corner.
Oh.
Oh, a little bit cheeky.
Cheeky.
A little bit cheeky. So here we go. They're just lining up for this last corner. Could go a bit wrong around this corner if people aren't careful, but there we go. Seems to be clean.
It's up to T-Mac now. He's the race leader. He chooses when to start this race, Ryan.
Yep. And there it is! Go, go, go! We're underway here for race 2 of the evening. It's 40 minutes long, and T-Mac's in first place at the moment. Goes nice and wide to get a good line into the first corner. Bob just behind him in second. Just manages to keep ahead of Don Tito, who I thought had a nose on him there, but did really, really well to hold on to that. So T-Mac at the moment ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, similar to the first time, Bob managed to just shut the door on Don Tito in the first corner there, which at one point looked like he was going to. He's right up on T-Mac here, pushing him along the track, Ryan. So he's found a bit of extra speed off that corner there over T-Mac and caught him out slightly maybe of it. T-Mac again driving well, defending the corner, defending the line as he needs to do. Not too much movement so far.
No, not much has
Pretty
gone
clean.
on in terms of play.
Oh, not again!
Oh,
Tito's
Don
gone.
Tito's gone. Oh,
I
no.
think it was.
Oh,
Oh, it looks like-
I thought we were going to have someone just slam into the back of someone there, but we
Looks
just
like
missed
Bibby
it.
as well was taken out as part of that. So whether it is those two that came together, perhaps. But these two again. Bob is all over the back of him, Ryan.
Here we go. Bob's got some pace going into this corner now. Is he going to overtake? He's there side by side, and Bob's got the inside into the corner, but it's T-Mac currently with the nose in front. Oh, he's pushed him a little bit wide. Oh, and T-Mac manages to keep him ahead, but that was
Aggressive from
close. Ladies
Yeah.
and gents, that was really
And look who's up in
close.
3, Rob 3, and Drux has got qualified outside the top 10 up into 4th. Both of those guys avoiding the carnage and massively benefit. I did say, didn't I, Rob? Rob, you're not Rob. I did say, Ryan, that Rob had a great shot of a podium here. At the moment, he's doing what he needs to do, up in 3rd, having a cracking race.
Cracking
But
race
these
so
two
far.
look like they are ready to fight. Really aggressive from both of them there. You'd probably say just about okay from both of them, just defending their line. Really good.
Really good stuff. We've got a shout in the chat, Jamie.
Oh, there's someone on their roof
Oh.
there. Jimmy, looks like. Can't
Jimmy
catch him. He's going
Tilliband,
down
yeah.
to
He's,
the
oh no, he's pulled straight across! No!
Oh,
Oh, why
that is
would
poor.
you?
That is so poor.
Oh.
That is so poor from Jimmy Tilliband.
Jimmy Tilliband
Awful.
pulled straight across.
Oh, that is that's disgusting driving from Jimmy Tilliband.
Strong.
Straight back into the middle of a pack of about 4 cars. Didn't even look. And he deserves to be on his roof there, Ryan. I'm not even going to dignify him with screen time. That is awful.
There we go. Strong views there, ladies and gentlemen. As Jimmy
Well, they've had
Tilliband.
warnings, Ryan. They've had warnings about that. That was so bad. He's ruined other people's race by doing that.
Yeah, very
No need.
bad from him at all. Someone else going off on the back. I was just about to say, though, someone's asked in the channel if they can see Odyssey. So we're not sure where Odyssey is at the moment.
Well, that was in the formation lap, I think. Odyssey currently down in 22nd. Sorry, yeah, by the time I saw that the race had started, I do apologise.
Right.
Sin having a cracking race up in 7th, ahead of Don Tito, who obviously had that spin. Ryan, it is kicking off already.
I mean, yeah, so much going on. I'm struggling where to keep my eyes at. We've got T-Mac leading the race, but only just, with Bob in 2nd. Rob in 3rd, racing really well, with Drux in 4th as well. There's a little bit of a gap between 2 and 3. There's a little bit of a gap between 4 and 5. So we're starting to get the little packs forming now as this race progresses. We're only 5 minutes in. We've got 40 minutes of racing, remember, and 34 minutes to go. This is the race where it's the top 16 racers get points here. So
15, right?
15. Sorry, God, I'm useless.
Yeah. So Blast currently in the last points position, but yeah, this is going to change all around, isn't it? I do apologise, Ryan, if I was a bit harsh in my criticism there of that manoeuvre, but they've been warned before this race about that being so dangerous, and it's such a shame, Ryan, because it was such an obvious one. He wasn't facing the wrong way or anything. He's literally just not even cared, just driven straight on and ruined other people's races, Ryan. So I do apologise to the chat if I was a bit over the top there.
But
that was a frustrating one.
Yeah, the chat seems to be agreeing with you. Really stupid says Trevor. Sly Bacon says bad driving. Dias says he hit Ham, so it's Ham who he hit. So bad from Rolfie. So yeah, I don't think you're having many people disagree with your views there, Jamie. It was a crazy version of events we saw from Jimmy Tilliband just pulling straight across. But hey, water under the bridge. Unfortunately, his race is done. But he's obviously affected someone else's ability to race as well. So I'm sure.
Great battle for the last points here, Ryan.
Yeah, so it's Higgs Boson, who we saw spin off earlier on in 16th place. We know he's got his overall pace is absolutely superb. You can see by the last lap times, clocking a 1:39 at the moment compared to the Blatters 1:47 and Roughneck One's 1:40. So Higgs Boson's going to push these guys all the way here. Literally pushing those guys all the way. I saw there's a little bit of a nudge there from Higgs Boson on Roughneck One.
You called it.
Called it there. Unfortunately, I've sort of, told him how it is.
Didn't know what to say, right?
Didn't know what to say. Blast. 14th place, just in behind Legionary at the moment. So battles all up and down those grids. Trevor saying, no need to say sorry, those are the facts. And Rolfie says, no, I agree with Ilias.
But I did get slightly carried away. Seb pushing for 4th with Drux here, which is letting Rob 3 get away and get a couple of seconds of clean air in that 3rd position, in that final podium position, Ryan. I really would love to see him bring that home, Rob, because we know he's had the pace, but he just never seems to quite be able to pull it out all the way consistently during the race. So he deserves a good, clean race, Ryan, and a chance to show his pace. But this is a great battle here.
It is a great battle. battle, but as we've been watching that battle, we just had a marker come up on Drux to say he's just been given a penalty. So it's just a 2-second penalty on Drux. But I have to say, really good to see Seb H.
All over the place there, right?
Yeah, all over the place. Really good to see Seb H up and about the top places, because we know how good he is in previous times. So he's in 5th at the moment. Got a penalty to play against, though. So currently,
teammates,
technically,
of course, right?
Yeah, teammates. Technically, he's in 4th place at the moment because of that penalty. But we'll have to see how that progresses. We've still got 31 minutes of racing ahead of us here, ladies and gents. So
will there be some team orders, right?
Oh, there it is. It looks like he's done them on the inside.
Drag race.
No, I don't think he's quite got the pace. And
no team orders
oh,
so
here
far.
we go. Oh, I thought he was going to go back on the inside.
Taking the normal line,
Yeah, good line there from Drux to hold on to 4th place. But he's going to know he's got that penalty, so he's going to have to make sure he extends that lead. But back to the top of the grid, and it's Bob in 2nd place still. Just off slightly the pace of T-Mac. You can see those last lap times.
Well,
not a lot in it at all, but a second
close,
split in them at the moment. But it is T-Mac who's holding on really well to 1st place. And at the moment, to be fair to him, Jamie, T-Mac been top of every bill available this evening. And so far, he's doing the same in this race.
Well, I'm wondering whether this is going to be a theme throughout the whole 4-week championship ride. T-Mac and Bob wrestling for that 1st and 2nd position. It seems like we're set up for 4 weeks of these two guys really being the top 2 dogs. You know, a lot of other guys can be as quick as them over a single lap, but these two seem like they've really got those race heads on, and they've got like that track and car intelligence to be consistent over a long period in a race and manage multiple situations and react to them as they come up, whereas we've seen obviously a few other guys panic or have issues or can't be quite as consistent, but these two, because the only two consistently in the 134s are on the track at the moment. Ryan, in this battle of the Titans, T-Mac, absolutely like you say, he's got the upper hand.
He has got the upper hand indeed, Jamie, and he's currently winning this race just over a second. But as you said, those two displaying excellent racecraft at the moment to ensure they are the kings of this track so far. But Jamie, remember, in this race, because of the length of it, we do have a mandatory pit stop here this evening. So an extra thing for the racers to think about, which means there could be some tactics come into play that might affect positions here this evening.
There absolutely could be. Bit of a queue forming behind Drux here, Ryan, actually. Sort of from 4th down to 8th. We're starting to get a bit of a queue behind Drux, who did look like he was struggling a little bit, didn't he? Sliding a bit. But Seb can't get past, and then we now got that's allowed area to catch up. Sin and Don Tito down to 8th, also, you know, really close. So Sin's having a great race in 7th at the moment, right?
Yeah, really good race. And you said there's a battle for 4th place, but actually you see the distance between 3rd and 4th now. They've all
sort of queue now.
Yeah, they've all sort of pushed themselves forward and are actually catching Rob in 3rd. So actually that queue, they've all driven each other forwards, and it could challenge one of the podium positions here this evening with Drux, Seb H, Area Motorsports, Sin, Don Tito. You know, Rob's got some really good races to fend off here.
There's about 8 of them that could take this last podium spot, isn't there? As we see at the back there, Don Tito right up on Sin's bumper, looking for that space to move. Locks up his brakes slightly there, but it's hard. It is not the easiest track to overtake on, Ryan, is it?
No, not the easiest. You've certainly got to pick your moments because, you know, there's limited availability in terms of your overtaking areas. But when you do have the chance to overtake, you have to take full advantage. And at the moment, you know, from the racing we've seen so far, Jamie, it just seems when that door's been open to overtake, some people haven't quite been able to snap it up, have they?
Yeah, there's no massive sort of big push hard stopping braking zones, really. So that, you know, it is a tough track to overtake on. So we've seen a lot of examples already of guys having much more pace, catching up quite quickly, but then getting stuck. I mean, I think it seems clear that Seb has definitely got more pace than Drux, but can't get the move done. Bit surprised there's no team orders there. Don Tito really pushing Sin now, though. Going around the outside, great move from Don Tito.
Fantastic.
Can Sin come back? You know, that was really brave, keeping his foot in there. Don Tito really brave, and he's rewarded with 7th position. Yep,
Don Tito up to 7th with an excellent manoeuvre around the outside of Sin there, so I'm sure he's got a point to prove given how well we've seen him race in the past, but currently only managing to take 7th place. But the race for 3rd is well and truly on, and you can see the queue of cars in behind Rob. He's got Drux, he's got Seb, and he's got Area Motorsport all going at it. And of
This
course,
looks like
Seb,
Seb's made the move, Ryan.
yes, Seb and Drux, remember, they're on the same team, so they could be talking tactics here, Jamie. Is that...
This Drux going to lose 2 places.
Oh, yes.
Area Motorsport
not
really
quite.
close, right?
Not quite. So Area Motorsport trying to split up these teammates, but going back to my question, Jamie, do you think... Oh,
Sorry, yeah.
as Drux weaves all over the road, do you think them being on the same team, obviously being in the same race, trying to... Where's Drux gone? He's gone in the pits.
Okay, don't worry.
I thought he just smashed himself into a wall or something.
He's nipping off.
He's
had
nipping
enough. He's gone home.
He's getting in early for the pits. But yeah, I wonder whether those team orders were, you know, the little chats they're probably having to themselves was helping there. But anyway.
Yeah, well, that is something we mentioned, isn't it? Because it certainly seemed like Drux was holding Seb up for a couple of laps, but it didn't happen. So whether they eventually decided to swap positions on their own accord, or whether Seb just got the run, not sure. But obviously Drux knew he was coming in, so maybe he's let him out. And Drux we see just coming out there, just tucking in behind Mad Knife in 11th. But of course he's done his stop. Yeah. Quite a quick stop here though, Ryan, it seemed. That didn't seem too long.
Really quick stop, to be fair to him. Yeah, he was in 5th place, only dropped like 5 or 6 places.
Well, that is about 20 seconds.
Yeah, quicker than what we've seen in other courses at least.
Yeah,
so, you know,
it's a small track. Yeah,
depending on tactics, it could be a quick in and out job. Interesting those tactics though, Jamie, because of course if you're only split by a second like T-Mac and Bob, those tactics are going to be very, very important.
Yeah, I mean these two guys at the front, they're just locked to each other. T-Mac cannot shake him, and Bob just can't quite get past him. Super close. So which one of these is going to pit first? And you know, depending on what they do in the pits, we've seen Bob, haven't we, in other races, do nothing in the pits. No tyres, no fuel, just do the pit stop to tick the box. So whether T-Mac's taking the same approach or not will be interesting. As we see Rob 3 and 3rd's picked up a 1-second penalty, so he's really been made to defend here, and as he peels it. So we're starting to see a lot of stops now, right?
Yep, so pit stops starting to come into play. Some races have decided to go a little bit earlier than others. We've seen Rob go in, we've seen Drux gone in, so they're taking their opportunity while they're racing well, just to get in, get it done, and get back out.
Well, I think Rob is probably reacting to Drux's pit stop. He doesn't want Drux to get the undercut on him from pitting first and getting out and having a bit more pace. So is he going to get there? Here comes Rob, and Drux is just coming down the pit straight now. It's going to be super tight. Just gets out in front, so really decision from Rob to keep track position there, take that pit stop, react to Drux, and now it's on Seb and Area to see, are they going to react, are they going to lose a bit more time by staying out longer?
Yep.
All depends. Now that Seb's free of Rob though, he is going to be able to put his foot down with some clear air, so maybe he's going to be able to put some hot laps in, then pit and build up that advantage and come out in front. Sorry, Ryan, there's a lot of information going on there, just trying to cover for everyone.
Yeah, so much to think about here with so many drivers out on track, so many positions up for grabs, and of course we've got pit stops chucked in for good measure, the mandatories which everyone has to follow. Sin seems to be in an Artem Benner Don Titor sandwich at the moment. That glowing pink car in the middle of these two white ones, just you know, showing its flair this evening in the lovely pink livery. But what we do see from that, Jamie, is the battle for 5th place is well and truly on.
Yeah, just a request in the chat, Ryan. Can we see the full grid quickly? Could you just give them a quick rundown of the guys beyond 16th, please?
Let's have a look. So beyond 16th, we have Higgs Boson down in 17th, Roy Klops 18th, Crichton out for 19th, Mr. Salt down in 20th place, which is an interesting one. Odyssey in 21st, and Vertigo 22nd, and Ham Electronics in 23rd. So we've lost a few races here this evening, but that is your full grid here this evening at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, if you want to...
We obviously saw Rob come out in front of Drux out of the pits, but Drux has overtaken him on the track there. We missed off camera, so Drux obviously had his tyres up to speed because he'd done that lap and was able to make full use of that extra grip and get past Rob. So these guys are now split, but there's now fighting really close, I should say, but obviously the other way around than before the pit stops.
Yep, so Drux, you know, we know how quick he is on his day. Making the most of his pace out there, overtaking Rob, so he's up into 7th place. But Rob, I'm sure, will not let him get away lightly. But we're on
Bob
board
with a penalty, right?
Bob with a penalty, unlucky from Bob. It looks like his hopes of first place are slowly starting to fade with 22 minutes on the clock. Well, they
haven't pit yet.
Legionary in 13th place at the moment, just in behind Johnny One Note though, Jamie. Only half a second splitting them at the moment. And we've got these little mini packs, it seems, all up and down the grid at the moment.
Yeah, and these two are still separate. Rob, now that his tyre's up to speed, he just about stops the car in time there. As Drux, I think, broke a little earlier than he was expecting, yeah. Now that his tyres are up to speed, the same as Drux, up to temperature, he's got the pace and he's really pushing Drux, who we have seen struggling a little bit with grip. Qualified quite far down, actually, but once again from Drux, he's always good in the race. And he always says this, he always says, don't worry about time trial, do race practice, because that's where it matters. And he always is proven right, I have to say, right.
Indeed, yeah, Drux, we know how quick he is when it comes to racing. He's got some incredible racecraft, and he's putting it into action at the moment. You know, he's a big believer in getting your miles in, racing with others online, so you can practice all aspects of racing, because it's all well and good going quick around the track on your own, but can you do it when there's 20 other cars all doing the same? Because that is ultimately where you win and you lose. A little bit of a wobble from Legionary there, Jamie, but he's still in 13th place. Johnny One Note holding him off in 12th. Good little battle from these two at the moment. But the packs, yeah, we do seem to have multiple little packs all up and down this grid at the moment. So we could see some interesting tactics when it comes to pit stops from everyone involved in these little packs, just to see if they can eke a few seconds out on each other.
Yeah, because we don't know who's pitted or not unless we've physically seen them. The game doesn't tell us that. So we could have people out of position, or they could, you know, they might have just pitted and some others haven't. We just can't sure, because we know Seb, Area, and Don Titor and Ayrton Bennett haven't pitted in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, but Drux and Rob have in 7th and 8th. So they'd be looking to gain those places back when they pit, but we just don't know. And that obviously all the way down the grid, that's the case as well. Yeah, Mr. Salt down in 19th having a quiet race, Ryan, isn't he?
Yeah, surprise from Mr. Salt. You know, we've seen him up and around the top places on lots of races here on the Thursday and the Sunday stream in the past, but doesn't quite appear to have the pace he would perhaps like, although he's catching Crichton Alpha here for 18th place, and I think it's only going to be a matter of time from what we can see from the speed of him catching him up here, although Crichton Alpha's doing well to hold on to that position at the moment, but Mr. Salt's just looking for an opportunity to go through, and I think it's just a case of biding his time and waiting for him to pass. But yeah, generally, Jamie, I'm surprised at that. As he tries to go down the outside, that's going to cost him there.
Who's that coming past? Someone lapping them, I think.
There, yeah, we've got someone lapping, but yeah, overall, Jamie, I'm surprised. I think that's actually T-Mac passing. Yeah,
it was, and you could see Bob right back there, so quite a big gap between those two now. I really do think with that leadership battle, Ryan, I really think it shows how important qualifying was, because those two are so evenly matched, and it is hard to overtake here. It really does feel like whichever of them managed to pit that pole position and get away cleanly would have the advantage. You know, I'd be tempted to bet that if Bob had been on pole and got away cleanly, it would be the same situation, but the other way around, because they're so close on pace and it's so hard to overtake here. You don't get big slipstreams on this track.
Yeah, potentially. Although you look at those last lap times, and at the moment, you know, T-Mac nearly lapping over a second faster than Bob.
Well,
so,
he's probably just backed off a bit just to make sure he brings it home in second. He knows he's got that penalty. It's just a hunch, but it does feel like they're so close that it really does count. It does show you how important qualifying is in this championship, which isn't always the case, but it highlights it a bit more here.
Certainly so. Rob and Drux still going at it for that 7th place, but it looks like Drux is quite literally in the driving seat for that position at the moment, in 7th place, as he's starting to just slowly pull away from Rob. We could see some action there. Oh, there's someone coming out of the pits. Wasn't sure who it was. I don't think it's called.
That's Area.
Area. Okay, so Area's split them. Area just
stayed out longer.
Yeah, came coming across there. I thought we were going to have some sort of crash, but it looks like Rob might have felt foul of whatever Area did pulling out there. But Area Motorsport split in the two and just in behind Drux. So the race for 6th place livens up, Jamie, with another car added to the mix.
Yeah, so Area stayed out longer, chosen to stay out longer, do his pit later, and it's gained him a few positions on the track. So that strategy has worked out well for him. Yeah, he's really pushing Drux. Drux has been a bit of a roadblock for a few cars so far today on overall pace, but he's doing exactly what he needs to do to stay ahead. Not been overtaken yet, right?
No,
Is he about to be though?
Yeah, he's doing really well at the moment, but Area Motorsport looks like he's going on the offensive. He's going to try and go down the outside and maybe slingshot on the inside around these corners, but at the moment Druck's doing really well to hold off on position, and the battle for 6th place is raging on, and it looks like Area Motorsport is really going to challenge Druck's here as we go into these next few corners. So Druck's just got a job on his hands to make sure he holds on to it. Not as clean as he would have liked into that corner, I suspect, but just manages to hold on, and these two are going to be going on for some while at the moment, unless we see a mistake coming from someone, Jamie.
It's so yeah, it really is so hard to overtake on this track. There just isn't. It's not a good track for overtaking, I have to say. It just isn't. There isn't a good place to do it. The only opportunity really is you have to be a lot closer through those S's, coming down to that last hairpin. And Area Motorsport was way too far back to have a run there. But even then, I don't think we've actually seen a proper on-track overtake that wasn't due to a mistake, Ryan, have we?
Not that I can remember, no. It seems to be mistakes, seem to be the name of the game. Yeah, really difficult to overtake on this track. But what it does mean is, you know, the marker has been set for consistency this evening. We've spoken about it so many times before in the past.
Yeah.
It's the people who manage to keep it consistent around this track.
Exactly.
Because, you know, as Jamie says, there's not those, you know, natural places to overtake. It is mistakes which is causing places. So if you're not consistent around the track, you're ultimately going to lose a place. And Jamie, I've just seen on the chat that, I know we laughed and joked about it, but Jimmy Tulipan actually got himself 12% damage from that little mistake from Johnny Won.
Who was it again? It was Johnny, yeah.
So,
yeah, we saw it, didn't we? We did catch that. Oh! I mean, he's a lot closer. This is what I was saying, but he needs to have a cleaner exit. But you've got to be so close through there, and you've got to really be right on the bumper to have a chance of a run down here. But even then, it's just too easy for the guys defending, just to defend the inside line, and then there's nowhere for the attacker to go. It's so hard to do, which was really my point about why qualifying was so important. Yeah, and even though they were split by a couple of thousandths of a second, you know, that's made the difference in terms of the race. Yeah,
massively so. But Area Motorsport going at it here nonetheless. But, of course, Drux and Rob do have penalties. So, Area Motorsport at the moment, you know, he's got 2 seconds either side of him and a second ahead of him. So, Area Motorsport, to be fair to him, and he'll know that, remember, the drivers get some decent information out on track as far as penalty is concerned. So, depending on how he feels, Jamie, Area Motorsport, I know ultimately these guys are racers and they're probably just going to go straight for it, but he might consider, as this race drags on, if he doesn't get past, to maybe not go for that risky manoeuvre and go for the overtake, and actually just make sure he finishes just inside that time where he needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long way to go yet, isn't there? Still, so yeah, but at the moment he's just trying to pressure Drux into a mistake. But Drux so far is keeping it cool, not making that mistake, and doing exactly what he needs to do. Pretty consistent pace. We're in the 133s and 34s most of the way through the top 8 drivers, Ryan, on most laps. Really consistent. I don't think the top 2 have pitted yet. Here we go. He's a bit closer, but again, just not close enough. He really has to not try and make a move into those S's, but just bide his time and stay as close as he possibly can. And it obviously is difficult to have a run. That corner there really is probably the only chance, but we've not seen anyone successfully pull it off yet.
No one's managed to make advantage of their extra pace into that corner. We've just seen Seb pit, so Seb's now in the pits. He's dropped down into 5th place by virtue of his pit, but of course he was up in the battles with Rob and your Drux and your Area Motorsport, so he's going to be hoping to come straight back out on track ahead of these guys, and it looks like Jamie's done just that.
Yeah, he's back out ahead of Drux, so there he is. So it's worked out that staying out later has proved to be the better strategy so far.
Yep.
As we see the 2 leaders staying out late as well.
Yeah, T-Mac and Bob still out there yet to pit. Seb H now is going to be a new front runner for this battle that's been going on between Drux and Area Motorsport. You can see them just in behind him. He's just over a second ahead of them at the moment. But if those two keep dragging each other around this track, it won't be long before they catch him up, and Seb H is going to have a real battle on his hands. But at the moment, he's doing well to hold on. And as I say that, Jamie, Drux has dropped down to 7th place. So Area Motorsport has manages to do him on the corner. And I think just in the background, I saw Drux perhaps make a little bit of a wide movement. So yeah, as we said, a mistake has just done it.
Got the inside line here, though, right?
Gone straight back up the inside and takes it back. So these two really
he's coming back,
going
right?
at it. Oh, Go on. Who's going to take it? Who's going to be brave into this next corner? Who's it going to be?
Last of the late breakers.
Oh, Area
He's cut the
Motorsport.
track a bit. Don't know whether he had all 4 wheels off there, Ryan. Has he got a slowdown?
No.
He's given the place back, yeah. Probably did cut slightly there, Ryan, so fair play.
Fair play. Don Titor now in the pits as well. These guys coming out. Are they going to come out ahead of him? Let's see. Don Titor, where is he? No. So Don Titor gives up a position, Jamie.
Still in there.
Straight down
He's having
to
a much longer
7th.
stop,
much longer stop. So those guys take advantage of that, and Don Titor now down to 8th. T-Max in the pits, as Trevor points out as well. So Bob's in first place at the moment. So it's all on Bob's pit stop. So T-Mac, of course, is going to come out of the pits. He's going to need to get his motor down and make sure he can catch up as much time as possible. He does have a good couple of seconds ahead of Bob at the moment, but Bob's going to be hoping he can pull off some sort of miracle by nipping
there's
in
18-second gap, right, now that T-Mac's back out, so we think the pit stop's around 20 seconds. There was about 4 seconds between them before, so he is making, at the moment he's bringing that gap down slightly, so I imagine Bob will be pitting right away on this lap to cover him off. Let's see. Or is he going to stay out? Looks like he's staying out, right?
Yeah, looks like he's taking...
Okay, so he's got faith in his pace there.
Yeah, so Bob's going to leave it till the last minute, it seems, at the moment. Only 10 minutes left of this 40-minute race, and Bob leads the race at the moment, but he's not...
Nope.
Oh, who have we lost there? I think that was a back marker.
Back marker, I think,
but yeah, back on board with Area Motorsport, and Druck still going at it for 5th place. Seb in 4th, managing to slightly pull ahead. So he's done really well there, Seb, to hold on to that and not let these guys catch him. Back further down the grid, we're on board with Sin. He's attacking Johnny OneNote into this corner, and just ahead of them, there's a nice little queue building up between some new races.
Glass and Mad Knife, all involved.
All getting involved. So yeah, Sin. Oh, look at that Hello Kitty logo. Right there, Lily Jean, it says on the front. Lily Jean with the Hello Kitty logo right at the front.
That's definitely someone's daughter, I think, right?
Yeah, we're going to try and find out afterwards because I'm curious. But yeah, Sid at the moment attacking these two guys. Johnny OneNote attacking Blass ahead of him. Blass and Mad Knife, who they're trying to catch, remember though, Jamie, they have penalties as well. So,
lots of penalties, right?
If they can hold on to this position, although... looks like they're going to do an overtake anyway, so might just naturally overtake without the need for penalties here. But the one thing I have... Oh, Mr. Salt, actually, James, just nipped up into 16th place. Oh, a little bit of sideways movement.
Sin push wide there.
A little bit of sideways.
Johnny OneNote.
Johnny OneNote down in 15th. There's a lot of penalties here this evening, Jamie, I have to say.
Well, we did say at the start, didn't we, that we thought that would be the case because of the track limits on this circuit are so easy to observe, and you know they're trying everything they can to find that space for an overtake ride because it's so difficult. So a lot of them are therefore exceeding the limits. But yeah, Johnny OneNote pushing Sin quite wide there. So again, very aggressive driving, but managing Sin still managing to maintain that pass. So up into 14th. These guys, of course, Johnny OneNote in 15th, the last of the points positions, right?
Yes, so all important places up for grabs. Johnny OneNote currently in those positions. Mr. Salt probably too far behind to start catching. We're on board with Bob though, and Bob, remember, he's not been in the pits yet.
He stretched the lead. It's up into the 18s.
Yeah. So who knows what could happen here? Although fluctuating between the top 17s and low 18s at the moment.
He's done a 1:33.8 last lap though, a cracking race lap from Bob. So he knows T-Max come in. He knows this is hammer time. He has to put in some hot laps if he wants to come out of those pits ahead of T-Max. And given how hard it is to overtake, that seems to be his only chance to win this race. Yeah. So they're both going to be just absolutely full throttle, right?
This is where Bob's going to earn his money if he's got any chance of tipping T-Mac off top spot, and he's certainly got his foot to the floor at every opportunity to try and do so, lapping just that little bit quicker than T-Mac. I wonder how long he's going to decide to hold on to
coming
this.
In here, do you reckon?
We'll see. I really don't know what he's going to do, so we'll see if he goes
Doesn't look like it.
wide. No, looks like he's going to stay on track for the time being.
So close, right?
I think he's taken advantage, Jamie, you have to say. I think my thought is that because he's got some clear track ahead of him, he's thinking, well, I've not got any traffic, I might as well try and push as hard as I can.
That's exactly what it is. You know, they're both hot lapping now. They're both doing qualifying lap after qualifying lap, giving the engine and the car and the tyres everything they've got. This is the most important phase of the race now. It really is going to come down to who hold their nerve and put those really super quick laps in. Look at the lap times on the last lap, within a tenth of each other, really close. It's still around 18 seconds. We're not exactly sure how much the pit stop is, but it's going to be tight, right?
We're certainly going to find out some exact timings as Bob goes in. That'll soon show us what's going on. But just below T-Mac, he's the only person in the top 7 not to pick up a penalty this evening. So, of course, you know, Bob or Moe might get ahead of him from the pits, depending on how long it takes. He has got a penalty to contend with as well. So the driving seat is in T-Mac's hands at the moment, I would suggest, depending on how long those pit stops go. But further down the grid again, we're on board with Mad Knife. He's got that queue of people still in behind him. Mad Knife and Legionary are 11 and 12 respectively, do have penalties. Johnny One Note and Sin are trying to make the most of that, and they're going to try and catch and get as close as they can into the closing stages of this race. Just 6 minutes to go, Jamie. It's great to see racing all over the track, but what I would say, as we've alluded to so many times, Bob's in. There's not quite the overtaking places we would like to see.
Here we go, Ryan. Oh, T-Mac's quite far back, actually.
Oh,
he's coming out.
Interesting.
He might have done this. It's going to be so
very
close, Ryan.
Very
They're
close.
still on board with T-Mac. Can we see a car appearing from the pit lane?
No, not quite. Not quite. So T-Mac takes back first position. Bob didn't do quite enough with his pit strategy to catch up. So it's T-Mac who goes back into first place. Bob with the penalty as well. So actually he's probably 4 or 5 seconds off now with 5 minutes remaining. So he's going to hope either T-Mac has some mistakes in his locker or he starts driving incredibly quickly to try and catch up. But at the moment it's advantage T-Mac in first place. Art and Benner though out of the pits. Just ahead of Don Teetle, just behind Rob. So I still think we've got some battles all up and down this grid, but because of how difficult it is to overtake, we might not see too many places change as Sin goes for a manoeuvre down the inside there on Johnny One Note. And Mr. Salt, Jamie, up into 15th place. He's done quite well considering where we saw him earlier on in this race.
Yeah, I'm just looking where Berg is. Again, it's the one I always keep looking out for because of his searing single lap pace. But again, he's disappeared from the race. So not sure whether he was involved in that first lap collision or whether it's another issue. But again, he's not managed to finish the race. So it just shows, Ryan, doesn't it, what Drux was saying consistently. You can have all the single lap pace in the world, but you have to be consistent in the race to get any points.
Exactly right, and that's why it's so important if the opportunity arises during the week, either with fellow racers or whether you just jump online with randoms, however it is, get as much practice as you can on the track in a race situation, because clearly it pays dividends when race day comes. Drux though, Jamie, 4th place, all the pit
really
stops
solid.
Appears to be done now, so this seems to be the grid and how it might finish unless anything crazy happens. Area
and Seb taking that.
Drux,
Seb taking that 3rd position with a really good pit strategy. The gate jumped him ahead of Drux and Rob, who's lost a couple of places in that pit stop phase. Yeah, so Seb at the moment comfortably holding on to that last podium spot, so a really good race for him in. Yeah, Drux and Area is an interesting one, isn't it? Because we saw Area gain the place, didn't we? But then Drux came straight back and got it back. Really great little battle, and after that they've sort of settled in position, right?
They have indeed, yes, they have indeed. But Aero Motorsport currently in 5th place, and he's going to make sure he pushes Drux all the way to the end. But back on board with Art and Benner, he's attacking Rob in 6th place, and he's got to be very careful because they've got some traffic ahead of them as well, but they're going to navigate that well by the looks of it. But Rob's going to have a real battle on his hand in the closing 3 minutes of this race to fight off Art and Benner, Jamie, and we know how good Art and Benner is in lots of different cars. Yeah,
exactly. Rob's going to be using this track to his advantage. There we go, placing his car perfectly on the inside. Nowhere for Benner to go. Can he get a good enough run out of it? He's fairly close, but not quite got the traction off that last S there. And he's just nowhere near close enough, is he? Very late braking, but who's that? Oh, it's Batmark again.
Yeah, I was going to say. Although saying Rob's gone a little bit wider than he would have liked. Although
He's
into
got
this
the
next
inside,
corner,
though.
he's got the inside, and that's probably going to be enough
Yep.
to make sure he holds on unless he overcooks it. Oh no, I might have done him.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Oh no, he's held on
this is
to it.
close.
Whoa, really close to Martin Benner and Rob here. Looking back to the chat, Odyssey says, how is it Twitch says I'm not subbed? Yeah, really strange. Because I spoke to Odyssey during the week, and it was actually his sub on the last stream that tipped us over the edge to get our first Twitch payment. So you're definitely subbed, Odyssey. So I wonder why it's doing that. But hey ho, unfortunately, it seems to be what's happening. But there we go. Artin Benner though, 7th place. Jamie, what do we think of his chances? Do we think Rob's going to hold on for this remaining 1 minute 30?
Well, I think if he can keep his cool, you know, he's quick enough to place his car in the right, and sensible enough to place his car in the right place to avoid that. The only chance Ben has got, I think, is to force Rob into a mistake, which we did see then. Rob just about getting away with it by the skin of his teeth. So it's going to be really tight area, still coming up on Drux, but that looks like it's done. Sin and Johnny One Note also really still going for it, but both in the points. And it looks like Mr. Salt at the moment is holding on comfortably with a good gap behind him to that last points position.
Yep, so the top 15 seems to be set, but in what order they finish overall is still up for grabs. But
Yeah, these
Rob,
three, Ryan.
Rob and Bob putting in some fantastic performances, and they are, of course, the NoobGamerz mentors who will be giving you tips and tricks when it comes to Thursday night streams. So certainly look out for that for a one-off learning educational stream on Thursday. And these guys certainly showing you people at home how it's done here this evening. But Sin, 14th place at the moment, he's going to make sure he pushes Johnny One Note all the way to the end. Although he's in the points, there's still an opportunity for more points, of course. So he's going to make sure he has a right old go at this in this fantastic looking pink car.
Oh, very wide. It's giving him a run there.
Yep, giving him a
Sin's
great
got the
run.
run.
Has he got him?
Yeah, I think so. Very poor from through the S's there from Johnny One Note. Just struggling with grip probably at the end of the race. Of course, Ryan, there's so many penalties. We can't possibly calculate everything on the fly. So, you know, these positions could change when they all cross the line.
They could indeed. And before we get towards all the permutations of that, looking back to the channel, we've got Roy Klops who's dropped as a sub with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much for that. It's Roy Klops. And we also have Painter Ted, who's just dropped us a follow as well. So we really appreciate all your support here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, for what has been a fantastic race out on track.
Sorry, yeah, Sin actually gained 2 places in that little battle, and Mavknife lost 2. So Mavknife was 12th, with Johnny One Note 13th and Sin 14th, and they've swapped completely. Sin now 12th, Johnny One Note 13th, and Mavknife 14th. But they've all got penalties apart from Johnny One Note, so he could end up taking that 12th place courtesy of the penalties. We'll just have to see. Bob only a second behind now, Ryan.
But the race is complete.
But
so
with the
that's
penalties. Oh, that's why.
So yeah, it is T-Mac who takes
There
the
it is,
victory
sorry,
here
yeah.
this evening.
Too excited.
Too excited. T-Mac takes the victory. But yes, we're waiting to see what happens with all these various penalties. Penalties abound here this evening. So we'll wait for the official confirmation before I'm willing to.
Ayrton, right?
Yeah, before I'm willing to put my money on anyone placing anywhere.
Trucks and area.
Yeah, I'm just
swapped.
I'm just gonna leave it. Let's wait. I'm gonna wait for the confirmation because I'm nervous about all these penalties and what might happen.
Well,
but all we do know,
right.
all we do know though, Jamie, T-Mac wins with Bob and Seb taking the top 3.
Yep. Yeah, all that defended from Drux for nothing at the end as they swap positions. All that defended from Rob for nothing at the end as they swap positions. So yeah, just so many penalties. Sin did end up finishing in 12th. Johnny One Note 13th, Mavknife 14th, Mr. Salt taking the last point in 15th. But yeah, well done to T-Mac, another really good race, and Bob as well. Mr. Salt just coming in chat, not happy about something, Ryan, so we'll have to try and see what
very
happened
questionable drivers out there, happy to claw back to 15th and get a point, but Jesus Christ, yeah, going to be some interesting comments perhaps off screen. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get confirmation of the winners this evening, and it's T-Mac who takes first place with Bob in second. It's Seb H takes the final podium position in third, Area Motorsport 4th, Drux 5th, And further down the pack, let's see if we can give everyone a view of all the races of the evening. So it's Vertigo who brings up the rear in 21st with everyone else above, as you can see. So pick out your favourite drivers and see how they come. But your top three is T-Mac, it's Bob Humphrey and Seb H. Closing off racing for this evening, let's head back to the studio. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the racing done for this evening, but do not switch off your screens just yet, because we will, of course, be bringing you the post-race reaction from as many drivers as we can. Hopefully, we'll get the opportunity to speak to the top three this evening. But, Jamie, fantastic evening of racing nonetheless.
Yeah, really good, really good. Sorry, someone just jumped into our chat box there. I just had to drag them out. Sorry. Fantastic race. Lots to talk about, wasn't there? Some controversial moments, some really difficulty with any sort of meaningful overtaking, which led to it all being about keeping your cool and not getting those penalties. Lots of people jumping into our commentary box here, right? Yeah,
everyone's getting involved. Everyone's obviously so excited to speak to us. We'll just give the drivers a few minutes to compose themselves, and we'll see who's left in the general chat to have a word with after that race. But we're hoping, Jamie, to speak to T-Mac, we hope to speak to Bob, and hopefully also Seb H is knocking around so we can at least get reaction from our top three this evening. But you have to say a very much deserved victory for T-Mac there. Raced really, really well.
Well, he's taken 2 poles, he's taken 2 victories. I mean, you literally can't do anything more than that. So, yeah, fantastic. He had some pressure from Bob, certainly. More pressure than than we've seen him have in previous races. But he's risen to the occasion and got the points in the bag. So, really well done.
Yeah, great work from T-Mac. We will be speaking to him soon. Let's just give them a couple of minutes to sort themselves down. Looking over to the chat, though. Mr. Salt, we've read that comment. Trevor Hunt, well done. Bob Rolfie says, nice one. B. Hunt. Blasotto, first non-Ginetta. Give me 10 points.
Yeah.
So Blas
it was the quickest car for sure.
Yeah, rocking the non-Ginetta car this evening. Rob says, well, that was interesting. Sadly got damage on the formation lap by being overtook. But he also says, well done, T-Mac, on the double. So, yeah, I think, Jamie, there's going to be some questions around the formation lap. There seems to be a few issues from that this evening.
Well, we saw certainly at the start we saw someone go right up the back of Jimmy Tillepan, didn't they? Not remembering it was the manual rolling star. Perhaps a bit confusing that the first race was one way and the second race was the other way, Ryan. They certainly had plenty of notice, but you could understand why perhaps people were a bit confused.
Potentially.
Adrenaline's pumping.
Exactly. Adrenaline is pumping indeed. And whilst that adrenaline is still pumping just a little bit, although we're giving them some time to cool down, let's head over to Interview Corner and get some reaction from our racers this evening. Oh, it's time for some post-race reaction, and it's only fair we bring in the top dog this evening. It is, of course, T-Mac. Let's bring the man himself into the commentary box with his pristine, perfect record. I'm sure he's going to be a happy man. T-Mac, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Here he is.
Yeah,
so,
no.
You won every practice session, you won every qualifying session, and you've won every race. There's nothing more you could have done this evening, is there?
No, that was pretty epic. I stalled in the pits. That was a blemish on my record. But no, as the driving went, that was I was on that. That was focused.
Yeah, as sort of expected, we saw you and Bob in a class of your own out front in both races. It's really difficult to overtake at this track. We saw all the way down the grid, hardly any overtaking. So it was so important for you to get those pole positions, and it seems like those 2 poles, the second one especially, it was so close.
Yeah,
milliseconds. That those 2 poles were so crucial for you getting those victories, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean it was this. I think the sprint race was more intense because I got a really weird VR stutter right at the beginning. I don't know if you caught it on stream where I just kind of drifted off the track. So I picked up a 2-second penalty really early on. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like Bob's right behind me, and so like every lap was really on it. And then the feature race, it was just a bit more like take it easy. Like let's just get the car get into the race, and then we'll see what happens. And then I kind of worked out where I was a bit faster than Bob, and then just gradually pulled away. Yeah, no, that was one of my most consistent performances in a while, which I'm happy with.
Certainly, consistency was the word tonight. Taking first place in everything you could. Obviously, this is only week 1 of the 4-week series in the GT4s. For the people at home watching who perhaps haven't driven a GT4s before, how do they differ from the cars we've seen previously on a Sunday?
So the best sort of comparison you would say is because the NoobGamerz GT3 League, the first season that was done, these are just slower but more leery versions. They don't have as much downforce and grip, so they're really easy to come just spin out of a slow speed corner. The Ginettas have like 0 driving aids, whereas the GT3s, they have a bit of traction control and ABS to help out where you need to. The Ginetta's quite nimble. The Aston Martin's quite fast in a straight line, so that'll be interesting for next week, Watkins Glen, because that's a bit more of a power circuit. Compared to like the LMPs of the last season, like just totally different, much slower. You have to be a lot more careful on the throttle because you don't have that downforce to help you out. But no, they're good fun. They produce close racing, which hopefully was reflected in the race. Obviously, I was head down, not really paying attention to anything else.
Yeah, tons of close racing all through the pack, and people were like, glued to each other's gearboxes. But no, the only passes we saw, few and far between, were really when the guy in front was pressured into a little mistake. So no one was able to find a good, clean pass on this track. Just not enough. There's just no slipstream at all, is there? So just not enough places to make that move go. So you obviously last in the one-off race, you had a bit of an off day, didn't you? But you've come back strong tonight. Probably in the races we've streamed in these leagues, probably your closest challenge, I'd say, from Bob in second, pushing you for certainly the first half of both races. He was right on your gearbox. You must be really pleased how you dealt with that pressure. Really
like good, like hard racing, and nice to just pick up both wins. Next week's a different track, so we'll see how that goes. Consistency, like what I lacked in the LMPs, we'll try and implement into this season. But off to a good start.
Off to a good start indeed, T-Mac. Well done once again. Winner of both races this evening. We'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'm sure we'll see you come stronger again next Sunday.
Thank you, guys. I'm looking forward to the stream.
Well done. Cheers.
Well done, T-Mac. Great race.
Cheers.
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was a reaction from race winner double T-Mac here this evening, who picked up maximum points in both races. And Jamie, we spoke about it a lot during tonight's stream, and consistency was key, and that's what he put his victory down to. Yeah,
he was flawless, and you can't say any more. He got the poles, so important at this track. He kept it in the first corner, and the rest was just bringing it home. Yeah, absolutely flawless.
Indeed. Just before we bring in Bob into the comment box, we've had a brand new follower, and it's Kaza Brank who drops us a follow, also asking about the Discord, which Jamie's now provided. Head on over there and get involved with the racing that we have to offer. But thank you for following the channel, and hopefully we'll see you in and around the Discord and on the stream for weeks to come. But Jamie, it's time to bring in second place here this evening, and that is, of course, Bob Hump 3. Let's drag him into the commentary box and get his view of tonight's race. Bob, are you there?
I certainly am.
Here he is. Bob, second place twice, but given the competition out there this evening, are you feeling happy after that, or are you still gutted you weren't quite able to pull off first place?
No, my aim was top fives in both races, and I got in there. So T-Mac is just next level, isn't he? So being up with him is, and at least keeping him honest. I was very chuffed with that. But he had the legs, so I made it interesting towards the end. I think I gained 2 seconds during doing a little pit strategy, though he's saying he stalled, which I call pure pressure. But yeah, I'm chuffed with that. So yeah, very happy.
Bit of mind games there, I think, Ryan, for Bob saying he was only looking for top 5. I think it's easy to say now. I think we all know you were gunning for that win, Bob. You were so close. I don't know if you were listening to our interview with T-Mac, but something we picked up consistently is just how hard it is to overtake at this track all through the pack. Everyone was struggling to make any moves, so it really did show how important qualifying was, and you were so close in both sessions, but particularly the second one. It was like, a hair between you. Unbelievably.
Top 3 were covered by 0.22, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was lucky.
So what I was going to say is, do you think on a track where overtaking is a bit easier, and pole is, a bit less dominant, do you think you have got the pace to challenge him a bit closer and maybe make the move on him?
Oh, 100% got the pace to challenge him. To beat him is another question, but he seems to be a master of Donington, whereas I've done Donington a lot in GT3 cars, but I was just sort of getting on top of these cars, and I'll be honest, that last race I felt, or the last 2 races, all week I've struggled coming off the slow corners, just spinning it round every time, and Seb was laughing at me because I kept spinning in all the practice races, and those 2 races it just suddenly clicked. So I think there's more to come from me, so hopefully we'll be pushing for that win.
Good, and obviously you've mentioned just there how much practice you probably put in. Consistency we felt was key tonight, and actually we saw a lot of people over single laps who are really quick, not quite pulling the mustard here this evening, but the people who have brought on their racecraft by doing lots of practice in and around other races, making sure they get practice in on sort of racing situations, that seems to be paying off for the races that we've seen in the races here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Well, not to sound too much of a dick, but I didn't actually practice that much. I just haven't really had the time this week. Sorry. So, yeah, the races I did get it, I think I've had 4, maybe 5. All with the gang, because there's been a lot of races going on this week. They've been really important, but as I said, I kept spinning. So it was just, it's definitely better to be fast over a race than it is to be fast over one lap. That is for sure. So yeah, consistency with a bit of added consistency is going to do you well in this league, I reckon.
Yeah, that came out so strongly today, with just, the only opportunities to gain places really mistakes from other people. So great race, Bob. It's put you in a great position in the championship. 3 races to go. Hopefully the next few tracks we can see some more moves. So, you're right in the hunt at the moment.
I've got to be called 4 times some point, so yeah, I might as well do it this season. So let's do it
as well in the GT4s. It's almost fate.
It is. I see what you did there. Yeah, I like that.
So there we go, Bob. Well done once again. 2nd place overall, and I'm sure come next Sunday we'll be ready to go once again. But well done again tonight.
Thanks, chaps, and I'm looking forward to Thursday. So just a quick plug. Anyone who wants a little hand or wants to learn anything, there's going to be a few experienced racers on Thursday night. So come down and join in.
What are we going to do, Rye?
So yeah, we're going to be watching. I'm going to be learning. I mean, you guys, we had that session the other week where the stream decided to crash because of the Steam servers, and you saw my
You're putting on the the show on, yeah.
Yeah. So what we're doing, we're gonna put the show on. We're gonna ask people during the week to send us in questions. Obviously, we're gonna be getting questions in during the stream as well, which we're gonna be passing on. So really, we're just gonna be hosting this sort of learning session. Hopefully featuring Bob, showing a few people how to do things. But yeah, we're gonna be hosting, just showing people lots of different things what we can. And I'm sure in the week we're gonna come up with a really good strategy of making sure the stream looks as good as it can for this session. But certainly, as Bob mentioned, if you want to learn more about Project Cars or sim racing generally, head on down to the stream on Sunday 8 PM UK time, and I'm sure there'll be a lot to learn. But yeah, well done
come
again,
get
Bob.
Involved.
Yeah,
thanks guys, catch you all later.
See you
Cheers,
later.
Bob.
Lots of love.
So there we go. That was reaction from 2nd place this evening, Bob. Unfortunately, we don't have Seb knocking around to get his reaction from 3rd place. But Jamie, 2 good races there, going at it, and it gave us some good scenes this evening.
Yeah, and it's clear we are set up for a mammoth battle over the course of the next 3 weeks between those 2 guys, Ryan, aren't we?
We are indeed. Let's head back to the studio. So there we go, ladies and gents. Week 1 of the GT4 League has now come down to a close. Bob's just joined in the chat. Hard work, that T-Mac. I hate him. Just looking at other points and bits. We've got Mr. Salt. I was gunning you down, some jerk took me out. Took out on lap 1, 2 and about lap 10. Oh, so unfortunate for Mr. Salt. Hopefully next week he gets a little bit more luck. Blasotto says ban the 6th gear on the Ginetta, then maybe the KTMs can be competitive. A lot of love for Bob as ever in the channel. But yeah, good racing tonight. I enjoyed it. Sounds like you enjoyed it, Jamie, and we'll be looking forward for next Sunday with Thursday thrown in between.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Thursday's going to be an interesting something new, but in our quest to constantly evolve our offering and provide more to some of the newer drivers, I think it's going to be very positive.
Very positive indeed. So yeah, as we said before, if you want to come and learn some things on and off the track, head over to our stream on Thursday of 8 PM UK time. But yeah, all good tonight. That is the racing done for this evening. Hopefully you all had fantastic weekends. Jamie, once again, thank you for joining me in the commentary box.
Thank you, sir, and happy birthday for yesterday, of course.
Thank you very much. I did have a good birthday. I am, of course, 18 now. It was my 18th birthday yesterday. I'm sure I look it on the channel as well. Yeah, so thank you very much. 18, It feels fantastic to be 18, so thank you very much for that. But yeah, have a good week ahead, everybody. Please join us on Thursday, 8 PM, if you can make that and come and learn. That'll be fantastic. But if not, we'll have this all over again on Sundays. We bring you round 2 of the GT4 League. Same time, different day. 8 PM on Sunday is the time to come and join us for a load of fun. But yeah, thank you very much, Jamie. Hope you have a good week, my friend.
You too. I will see you on Thursday.
See you on Thursday. Thank you for everyone joining us here this evening. That's it for tonight. Thank you if you followed, if you subscribed, however you've got involved, even if you just sat back, got involved in the chat, however you've contributed to the channel this evening. We thank you, and hopefully we'll see you all again soon. The NoobGamerz Studio signing out. Have a fantastic week ahead, everyone. Thank you very much.